Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call
Welcome to the summer, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Yes, Dave is gone today. I actually already did talk to Dave. He called me on the drive in today. I'm like, man, why are you awake? But he's down in Southern California. It's I gotta get an yeah, some propaganda they got going on down there. I don't know. No, it's his daughter. I don't know if it's an orientation day. Something they're trying to. I'm sure it cost. I'm sure it wasn't free.
Hey, here's how you get to become a worse person. That way we know you're eligible for USC.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he'll be back with us on Monday. Chris will be gone next week. It'll be a shorter week next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then we get the third off, which is nice. And the 4th, July the 4th. It's a holiday, apparently. Is that new?
July the 1st is a holiday.
What's that?
Canada Day.
How do we celebrate it?
Getting some maple syrup, maybe a
listening to Alanis Morissette.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Watching Bret Hart matches.
Hockey.
Drinking some Labatt Blues.
And riding a moose.
Yep.
That's how you do it. Happy July 1st. Yes. So, yeah, that's kind of the week ahead. But we wrap up this week. We have a big show today coming up for you today. The wrap up of the NBA draft. And we're going to get into this, obviously, a lot today. The Kings did make a second round selection that, Kings fans were a funny, and I'm putting us all together. We're all one big happy family. We're a funny lot. Certainly we're very protective of our team. Like, no. You can't say that about us. We can say that about us. And right now I get the feeling that just kind of going into the draft, everybody's been kind of down on the Kings, and I'm not trying to change anybody's mind on that they shouldn't be. I mean, look, it's 19 of 20 years without the playoffs. That's honestly really hard to do. And right now, at this moment, people are saying nice things about us. They like us. They really like us. And I get the sense that people like that. It's like, oh, well, wait, don't talk about us unless you have something nice to say. And there's a lot of NBA people that we will kind of go through the show today that say, I really like what the Kings did with their draft. Good work, Scott Perry.
I kind of like it when Scott Perry drafts.
And it's like, is this happening? Well, it's the draft. If you hated the draft, if you love the draft, always get excited. If you're excited for what they're doing, that's awesome. But I don't know. I think they just drafted the 2 best players in the history of the NBA. But that's me. Maybe I'm going too far. No, I'm excited. I am excited. And we will talk a little bit more about the newest King, Maxime Raynaud, from Stanford, with their head basketball coach. Keith Smith will join us a little bit later in the show, or Kyle Smith, excuse me, will join us a little bit later in the show at 7:30. Dusty Baker. I call him Dusty Baker. John Baker. Yes, that Dusty Baker. He is going to join us at 9 o'clock. He's got a big event going on this weekend, but also working with the Giants. He's a baseball guy. He's a Sacramento. I know that, dude. He's a Sacramento guy. And one of those people that just everybody loves Dusty Baker. Just super cool.
For a long time, I thought it was some weird joke that, like, oh, yeah, he invented the high five. And
wait, where'd that come from?
Wait, you don't know about that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there is something vaguely about that.
Yeah.
But is it a joke or was
no,
it real?
It's really, he really did it.
But what did you think? You thought it was
I
fake?
thought it was just like, okay, like I'm trying to think of, because that seems like it's been around forever. It's like someone,
so is Dusty.
It's like someone, oh, that person invented the wink. Like, what are you talking about? So I was just like, yeah, Dusty Baker. And then it's like, oh, no, he actually did it.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't know how you prove it, but it's like the first person that's been seen doing it. And then like he just gets credit for it, which is fine. Where did the well, it's never like the high 10. That's gone, huh? Like people used to do that, like bang.
I think
bang,
there needs
like
to. I think it only exists in beach volleyball now. I don't know why, but that's where I think it fits.
Did you ever go to a beach volleyball event? Because
No.
actually, I've been to quite a few.
I think you told me about that. I think I've only heard about one. I think they had one at Cal Expo a while back.
Like years ago,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, that's ringing a bell. But yeah, Dusty Baker, the inventor of the high five. We're going to discuss, I mean, did he think about other things, but how he invented the high five. Yeah, Dusty will join us at 9 o'clock.
Are you really guys going to only talk about the high five?
Yeah, that's why he's coming on. We also will have the conclusion of the show. I'm noodling a new game for Friday Funny Games that I don't have fully executed, so it may be pushed off for, well, I guess we don't have a Friday Funny Games next week. Maybe 2 weeks when you return, but we'll see. We'll see if I can execute that by the end of the show. And then all the regular stuff in between. But lots of discussion on the draft coming up. Before we get to that, we mentioned Dave is out today. He and his family down in Southern California. His favorite place.
Set the screen.
I mean, there's so much irony in this, Chris, in the decision that you and I are kind of, I mean, I've given him a bunch of grief and really his daughter just because of the choice of USC when all along we were led to believe that UCLA was the choice.
That was the dream. That was the dream school.
For 2 years we were told about this. She gets in, I bring in all the UCLA gear. I'm so happy for her. And then like within days, it's a switch to USC. And then I think you've enjoyed it because,
well, not only that, she did a total troll job.
Oh man, I didn't think that was happening. I'm like, well, it's fine. You picked USC. It's an education. Good for her. That's awesome. But I think you and I have really enjoyed the fact that Dave's really stressing the financials, which,
oh man, I'm out of cash.
Which, you and I keep saying, well, it's only going to be, about a 7-year experience, maybe 8. It's fine.
I remember seeing him heartbroken. He's like, well, it's 4 years. I'm like, no.
5, 6, 7. I mean, sometimes maybe a gap year. Find yourself. No. So they're down in Southern California, but he hates Southern California, and he's going to be down there a lot, I think. I mean, just naturally, right, to go see your daughter, to check in. I know later, I think in August, he's going to have another trip down there to, move her down there. You got things to do as a proud parent. So that's going to be a pretty amusing watch, I think, for you and I over the next couple of years. Also, I know yesterday was, for you, Chris, was the completion of the food that I brought home.
It's not.
Oh, you didn't finish
yet.
Of the muffalata.
You brought back like a tire. So
yeah, it's a big Frisbee. They're like, you want the full order? I said, yeah. They're like, you and I ordered 5 of them.
How did they? So you order? What are your choices? Like full, half, quarter?
I saw full and half,
Okay.
and I'm like, well, I did a full last year for Chris. So I'm like, yeah, let me do a full. I'll get a full for Dave, and took out a mortgage to get it, but no. How was it?
Excellent.
And because I couldn't bring I forget what they call it, olive salad or the muffalata topping. They did give it to me, but it was like that's gonna just spill in the plate. That's gonna be a mess. So you ended up finding your own, didn't you?
Went to Cordy Brothers.
Yeah.
Because it's actually something I use in my pasta salad, which really adds to it.
Yeah.
But,
same type of idea.
yeah. So I found a different one. It's the macaroni authentic New Orleans muffaletta mix. And it was amazing.
Really? And as good as last time, better. It's the same place I got it from. This time, though, I did have it drenched in yours last time, so maybe it was soggier when you had it.
Yeah, this one was drier.
Okay.
Kind of crunchier.
Oh, interesting.
But
okay.
it was
good.
It was amazing.
Lived up to it.
Yes.
Lived up to it. Last night, before we get into leading off here, and there is some breaking news here that we're going to have you know what? We should hit it first. There is some breaking news that we have to get to, so let's
When
do
it breaks,
We have it first.
It's Sacktown Sports breaking news.
Well, in a little bit, maybe a lot of bit of a stunner here. NBA news, the NBA never sleeps. According to Shams, breaking news, Masai Ujiri is out as vice chairman and president of the Toronto Raptors. This is one of the most coveted people in front offices around the league, and there's not any more than that released at the moment. That's a bit of a stunner.
It's weird, like especially coming after the draft, but before free agency.
Very bizarre. And the Kings, there's some rumors about them talking to them about RJ Barrett, maybe a few other this is one that's coming out of left field a little bit. So we'll talk more about that throughout the show, but a little bit of breaking news that Masai Ujiri is out as vice chairman and president of the Toronto Raptors. Also, throughout the show, hit us up, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Text line is 339-1140. The chat, you're in here this morning. Good morning. Thank you to everyone in there, and happy birthday to longtime Kings fan, my guy, Patrick. Happy birthday, Patrick. Good for you. Glad it's your birthday today. Enjoy, make the most of it, and have a good weekend there as well. Before we get to leading off, have you seen the movie, Chris, Black Bag?
No.
Okay. Do you know what that is? Have you heard about it?
Nope.
You haven't heard about it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, no, I just forgot the Michael Fassbender.
Okay.
Oh,
is this where he's like
not Claire Danes?
they're
Kate
like
Blanchett. CIA.
assassins?
Yeah.
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
I actually heard someone say pretty good things about. It was good. Check that one out last night.
It was good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I loved it, but worth a watch. Worth a watch. Wasn't like the great. Hey, Chris, you got to see this movie. I gotta be in that movie. It was fine. It was entertaining enough. So watch that after the draft. Got a little shut eye, and then here we go, ready to go for today's show. So let's do it. Let's get you all started with some leading off.
Let's do it.
leading off the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
With the 42nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Maxime Raynaud from Paris, France, and Stanford University.
Okay. I will say this. I am excited about this draft pick. About, one of the things that I try to caution fans against is happening in this situation. So that's probably where some of my reservations are. I think we all, and I'm guilty of this because I don't watch as much college basketball as I used to. I rely on other people that do this for a living. And we know, based on history of sports, drafts aren't always players aren't always drafted in the correct order of, like, as careers go on, you go, oh man, if you could redraft, this would be completely different. But what we are kind of all tied to are mock drafts and draft boards and people's opinions. And yes, they are experts and they do this for a living and they are far more qualified than a lot of us out there. So when you see Maxime Raynaud on people's draft boards much higher than 42, it feels like value. It feels like the Kings got something that maybe they didn't deserve. And back that up and pair that with what he did at Stanford, leading the nation in double-doubles, the size, the ability to stretch the floor. There's a lot of things in as far as a second-round pick where when the second round started, if I'm not mistaken, I think from the 31st pick on, maybe it was after the 31st pick, so the first pick of the second round, I think Raynaud was Jay Billis is like number 1 on the board. And I kept seeing that, and the Kings were like about 7 picks away, and I'm like, he's going here. Oh, shoot. Brooklyn's going to take him. Oh, the Warriors, they're right before the Kings. I'm sure they're going to take him. And then they had traded out to Phoenix and went, oh, Phoenix took 2 big guys. Oh, my gosh, is he really going to be there? Wait, is there a reason he's dropping? Should the Kings not take him? I mean, this is the thought process I'm going through going, wait, what intel do other people have? But based on that, based on what we said yesterday about moving up to get Nate Clifford, again, the process that Scott Perry in the front office went through, I appreciated. I think they did anybody playing a rep or a minute or anything in a Kings uniform. I like what they did. I do. I really do. Now, I'm not going to pretend to sit here and go, they got the best player, they got the rookie of the year, they got the best player 5 years from now. I don't know that. Nobody knows that. But I think what they did makes sense. And I think Monty McNair actually drafted pretty well over the years too. So, I mean, I think these are things that you want to feel like you've done the right thing more times than not in your times that you can improve the team. Remember the ways to get the team better: free agency, trades, the draft, and really the fourth one is kind of player development among the guys you have. And so this is one of the things you can try to control in who you select and how what you trade, but it's the greatest unknown out there. I mean, Cooper Flagg, I believe, like many, will be one of the great players in this league, but it doesn't always work that way. And so when you pick first, it's easier, but there's more pressure. When you don't have a first-round pick and you want to get in, it's tough to get in, but the Kings did that. Who they drafted yesterday or 2 days ago, Nate Clifford, you can see the thought process behind it. And what we're seeing, if there's an early trend on Scott Perry, which was certainly a trend on Monty McNair, draft players that are seasoned, that are ready to come in and play, mature, that you're not really teaching how to play, and quality players that you believe have an upside. And the beauty of drafting players is they're under your team contract control, and you can develop them. You're kind of the first ones out of college to mold them. So I do like it. I know we're going to talk a lot more about Maxime Raynaud today throughout the show. We'll let you hear what others have said about the Kings draft, and we'll visit with his college head coach from Stanford. That's all coming up throughout the show. But I would say so far so good on without them playing a rep. And, the first time will be coming up in Vegas in the Summer League in just a few weeks. I mean, that's just a few weeks away. So really looking forward to going out to Vegas to watch these guys play a little bit in person and see what the Kings have.
The finals was this week.
It was Sunday, wasn't it? I mean, if you do think about that, the NBA is really crazy. So I'm glad you said that, Chris. So in 5 days, here's just a few things that have happened. A title was won. A parade happened. Halliburton lost his most likely next season. Kevin Durant got traded. Masai Ujiri was fired today. Cooper Flagg goes number 1. The Celtics changed their team in 5 days. And you know what? It's the air quotes off season. NBA is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. All right, let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
not working?
I don't know. It's not playing.
Let me see.
I'm going to try it one more time. Yeah. Wow, neither one. I played the draft one.
I think I figured it out. Give me a second.
Okay. Well, the next phase of the NBA in 5 days, this will stretch out to about 8 days, is coming up, and that is NBA free agency. And the Kings, and along with the many other teams, they will be players in this, but this is the next, I think at times, exciting, anxious, nerve-wracking for players, but free agency time is just about here, and it begins Monday. The Kings have opportunities here, not as much as maybe some other teams, but another phase in how you get your team better is certainly an NBA free agency. And I think when you look at the group, the Kings have a couple of free agents themselves that they're going to have to address. I'm still really intrigued by Jake LaRavia, if that's someone they can still keep. I know there's some financials that they're restricted upon. Trey Lyles, what's his future? And then who are the Kings going to look to add? We know, and it's been talked about, and yesterday, if you missed our interview with Sam Amick, we encourage you to go back to Sacktown Sports, check out the podcast, go to YouTube and see his conversation that we had with him between Russell Westbrook, Tyus Jones, Dennis Schroeder. The need to address a point guard looks like that will be coming up in free agency for the Sacramento Kings. So there's big names, there's smaller names, but this is also the next phase of how teams can improve themselves and certainly get better. And over the years, now we'll see Scott Perry. Again, I think when you hire someone like Scott Perry, if you're Vivek Ranadive, and move on from Monty McNair, who won Executive of the Year, you're looking at one of his strengths, I believe, is his connections. And so connections can be to coaches, to players, and certainly to agents. And he's got a lot of years of experience. And so I believe the Kings will be in the conversations that they need to be in. The next part is financially, can you please that camp and fit? I think if you're a free agent and you're a player, obviously when they say it's not about the money, it's always about the money in some respects. But I would think in different levels, it's opportunity, playing time, situation, culture. I would say the Kings can check a few boxes that could help someone like, a point guard that's trying to come in. The guys we just mentioned, Schroeder, Westbrook, Tyus Jones. There's an opportunity to be the leader in running this team at point guard. So that, to me, might weigh more than someone that's going, yeah, you know what, I want to join one of these teams that's closer to winning a title. Totally understand that. That's a different opportunity. So you try to hit the sweet spot of the right financial figure combined with opportunity, situation, coaching, teammates. I mean, there's a lot of factors that get weighed in, and I believe the Kings will be in a lot of those discussions, and we'll see if, now it's back to the greatest challenge is fitting the puzzle together. Let's look at Beam Team, the first Beam Team, right? I mean, that team was coming off a non-playoff year. Sabonis had already been here. Fox had been here. You drafted Keegan Murray, but it was kind of the subtle little things of getting Keegan, getting Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, and you then at one point you're like, this all kind of works. It wasn't the greatest roster of all time, but it was good. It all worked. So the Kings have some of these elements. It's just, can whatever they add and move and change blend perfectly to create a team that's far better than we saw this last year. That's the challenge. All right, let's get to cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
Are you doing this, Chris, or me? Or are we giving up on it? All right, let me give it another whirl. And let's see. We're trying the second effort.
The 3-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball to second base, sliding backhand to stop by Torres, gets up, throws, Tigers win.
Oh, Tigers win. The Tigers win. Yeah, Tigers shut out the A's. Giants, oh my goodness. Getting the Marlins at home. This is going to be a great series for the Giants. Look, the first half of the season is officially over, but that was a brutal way to end this series with the getting the most hits allowed, most runs for the Marlins. They get swept That was not good. Not good at all.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Maybe not. All right, much more coming up on the show. Again, joining us, Stanford basketball coach Kyle Smith will talk to us about what the Kings have in Maxime Raynaud, their newest pick at 7:30. Dusty Baker joins us at 9, and stick along with us for the ride when we come back. Baseball at the halfway point, safe or out. We've got conversations on that, but much more on the draft and how the Kings did, our opinions on that, and others as well, as we continue on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by PG&E.
3, 2, 1. I'm Ophelia Young in the KCRA3 Weather Center on this Friday morning. We are starting the day with comfortable weather under sunny skies with very little winds. Weather keeps warming today with temperatures climbing into the low 90s this afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Free wellness, red light therapy, infrared trim pod, cold plunge, halo therapy, massage, cryotherapy, sunbeds, and more. All services all week, all customers free during Wellness Week at California Sun Wellness Spas. No sign-up required. Walk-ins welcome. Free at all California Sun Wellness Spa locations. This week only. CaliforniaSun.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
It's what you wait for all week. The three-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Shea Langoliers, out with that strained left oblique, started a hitting progression, and Mark Kotze said that he's making a lot of good progress. Grant Holman, out with that right shoulder rotator cuff tendonitis, felt discomfort in his right shoulder after his outing, and an MRI revealed the tendonitis. At this time, there is no timeline for his return. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Baseball, fireworks, and patriotic fun. Join the Sacramento Rivercats on July 3rd for our Independence Eve extravaganza presented by Budweiser. It's a summer tradition packed with fireworks, baseball, friends, family, and unforgettable memories. Bring the whole crew and enjoy America's pastime under the lights, followed by a post-game fireworks show lighting up the Sacramento skyline. It's the perfect way to kick off Independence festivities. Lock in your tickets for July 3rd at rivercats.com.
This summer, give your kids a reason to smile, brightly. At Kids Care Dental, we make dental visits fun with a kid-friendly team, easy to schedule appointments, and expert doctors who really care.
Whether it's a checkup, a cleaning, or their very first visit, we've got you covered. We accept most insurances, and we're always ready when your schedule gets hectic.
Smiles grow here. Book online in minutes at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com. Kids Care Dental, where healthy teeth make happy kids.
Oh, and that's a hard foul. Let's listen for the call on the floor.
The taxpayer owes back taxes. Penalties and interest are assessed and wage garnishments to begin immediately.
The IRS never misses that call. I wonder if they will challenge it.
The call is under review.
Priority Tax Relief has been called in for a review. Priority is the best in the business at negotiating your tax debt and has even eliminated the debt for some clients. Priority Tax Relief is saving their clients millions of dollars every month.
After a careful review from Priority Tax Relief, the debt has been eliminated. No foul on the play.
Whoa! That completely changes the game, folks.
If you owe more than $5,000, call Priority Tax Relief, and in minutes they'll review your case for free with a direct line to the IRS to see if you qualify for life-changing relief. No more worrying about wage garnishments or frozen bank accounts. Call Priority Tax Relief today at 800-899-2289. That's 800-899-2289.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Call now. Priority Tax Relief.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, we got Safer Out coming your way in just a moment. Again, just a reminder, if you missed it right at the top of the show, the breaking news from Shams that Masai Ujiri out in Toronto, who's leading that front office, done a very good job there, helped them win a title. It's good in Denver before that. Little bit of surprising news. I mean, that honestly very surprising to me, just based on timing, like Chris said, too. We just had the draft. We got free agency starting Monday. Very, very surprising. He had a final year left on his deal. Maybe they just couldn't agree and said, like, let's do it. Man, this business, if it's not a reminder already, I think we already knew it, but it can be brutal. And we saw the NBA just with the moves, like the firings last year. And I mean, the stunners of what Memphis did with Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone in the last 10 games and 3 games, that was surprising. But cruel, cruel world out there.
Matt, you mentioned the 1 year left. If they did want to just let him go because they couldn't come up to an agreement, this would be the perfect time so where he can't help anybody else out.
Right. It's like, yeah, we know you're good. We can't get into agreement, but yeah, you're not going anywhere. But he is not going to be the guy there in Toronto. All right.
And the bad thing about like what we've seen with these like firings at random times, you're almost hoping that that's the case and not something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, exactly. All right, Chris, let's get a few thoughts here on a safe or out. What you got for us?
We have reached the halfway point of the baseball season. Safe or out? The 6 division leaders will end up winning their divisions.
All right, well, let's go over the division leaders right now, kind of where we are at 81 games in, and, obviously a long, long season to go. We'll start in the American League in the closest race. My team, the Yankees, are only a half game up on the Rays, so that one doesn't feel locked in at all, but the Yankees got off to a good start. They had a really bad June. Let's see. Detroit has a large lead in the Central. They're 9.5 games up. Houston now has worked themselves up to a 6.5 game lead on Seattle. The Mets just half game up, and they've been melting down in June as well over the Phillies. Cubs 3 games up on the Brewers. Dodgers a nice lead on the Padres of 6 games. I mean, I think that's out. I just think there's a couple of races that are too tight. Yankees and Mets specifically. And just, it being a long season, injuries, trade deadline coming up after the All-Star break, just what other teams are added. I think it's safe to say too much baseball to go, halfway there, living on a prayer. Yeah, I would say that's out. These 6 division leaders will not be the 6 division leaders at the end of the season. All right, question 2.
Safe or out? We are more likely to have a 20-win pitcher than a 60 home run hitter this season.
All right, so we kind of do the same thought process the halfway through. Max Fried for the Yankees won his 10th game yesterday, so figuring if he can double that gets him to 20, which is very rare in baseball these days. Who else is up there with 9 wins? You've got Carlos Rodon, also of the Yankees, Tarek Skubal of the Tigers, who's got really filthy stuff. And then how about the guys that have hit the home runs that are halfway there. Cal Raleigh is more than halfway there at 32. Judge and Shohei at 28. I feel like since we've seen, 60 is pretty rare to get to 60 home runs. So I would actually lean, even though we have less candidates to get to 20 home runs, to 20 wins, to double it up. I feel like that's a little bit more doable than someone getting to 60. Are you I know you're not as into baseball anymore, Chris, but like 50 home runs was such a cool number to me. Like kind of growing up to even, my 20s and like, you're like, man, 50 home runs.
Brady Anderson is ridiculously good.
And then we have people like that. Does that just change it for you that we have just some randos that have hit 50?
Yeah.
But 60's incredible.
Yes. But if like the more people do it, then it's.
Yeah, like in the end, no offense to Cal Raleigh, but like if he hits 60, is he just having like the Brady Anderson great year? He's a good player, but just going like Judge and Shohei wouldn't shock anybody. They both have been up there. Judge has done it, and you just go, yeah. But to have Cal Raleigh, if he's the guy that hit 60 this year, I don't know. That's just an outlier. Just one guy having a big dumper year there for Cal Raleigh. All right, let's get to question 3.
Safer out. Jacob Wilson will win the American League batting title.
All right. Well, this was a landslide early on for Judge. Judge was up near 400 for a long time. He's really cooled off. Jacob Wilson was also up to like 370, but now he's at 345. Of the two, look, I'm a huge fan of Aaron Judge, but Jacob Wilson is just, he puts the ball in play so much. I would say, I think he will win the American League batting title. I really do. As much as I want it to be Aaron Judge, I'd love to see Judge win the Triple Crown, the MVP again, the Yankees win the World Series, all that stuff. But Jacob Wilson is such a great story. I love that we had him on early on this baseball season. Remember the A's were in Chicago. We're like, oh, this young shortstop's pretty good. We'll see. Knew about his dad, Jack Wilson, in the majors. But Jacob Wilson not only is getting recognized for what he's doing on a day-to-day basis, but still up there in the voting leaders for the All-Star game to start at shortstop. It'd be a long time since the A's have had a starting shortstop voted in. He's a nice story, and the A's don't have enough of those, but he's one of them, and I like it. He's currently batting 345. Judge is at 361. Actually, I would say that's safe. I actually believe that Jacob Wilson has the tools to do it and actually will be able to do it and win that batting title, which I think would be an incredible story, honestly, for him and for this team that continues to go through just too much from the way the organization has been run by John Fisher to, are they really going to Vegas? Or how long are they going to be in Sacramento? What they had to go through last year in the final games in Oakland. I know we've talked a lot about this, and Chris, last year you picked, it was probably about now. When is this about the time of year when you got your tickets to go to the finale?
No, I got them really early.
Oh, you got them earlier
Like,
than this.
right, it was right when they announced that they were going to
They're
Vegas.
officially going.
My cousin hit me up.
Became a hot ticket, and it was at the end of last year, it was kind of cool to see how many more A's fans were going at the end of the season. But just, oh, you're an athlete, just deal with it. I just can't imagine. It just can't be easy to not knowing what your home is going to be. And that's already in kind of innately in sports because you can get traded, cut, released at any moment. But, if you're on the Yankees and you believe you're going to stay on the Yankees, they're going to be at Yankee Stadium. They're not going anywhere. For the A's, they don't even have a name, just the Athletics. It's just crazy. But Jacob Wilson, I'll say safe. I believe he can win the American League batting title, and he'll do it. All right. When we come back, let's do it. Let's dive into the 2025 NBA draft from the Kings' perspective. They've added 2 players. They also added some after the draft. We'll talk about what the Kings have done. Certainly want to get your thoughts on that. You can weigh in today at 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 on the chat, on the text line. Let's hear from you how the Kings did. We'll do that next.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for 3, and Keegan knocks down the triple. Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Have you heard? Kohl's Instant Kohl's Cash event is happening now. That's right. You can get $10 Kohl's Cash to use instantly when you spend $25 or more. Get it today and spend it today on summer must-haves from your favorite brands. Yep, you definitely don't want to miss this. Get instant Kohl's Cash while you still can at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Offers end June 29th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
For 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, there's a real chance of Jacob Wilson starting the All-Star game. As of the start of the A's current trip, he had a 250,000 vote lead at shortstop. Next up, the final vote of the top two finishers. If he wins that, he'll become the first A's shortstop to start the game in 50 years. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests, Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Tickets and info at CITBfest.com.
Hey, movie fans, get ready for the most authentic racing film there's ever been. F1, the IMAX experience.
They're saying Sonny Hayes isn't a husband. He's a never was.
Starring Brad Pitt, F1 the movie puts you in the driver's seat of high-octane drama and speed. Filmed for IMAX, feel the rush of the track like never before on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen with horsepower audio. Get your reserved seats today at IMAX.com/Sacramento. F1 playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
With the 42nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Maxime Raynaud from Paris, France, and Stanford University.
Apparently close buddies with Victor Wembanyama. Incredible. There have been so many pictures out there at times on social media, Victor Wembanyama. The ones I appreciate is when Victor Wembanyama, what was the one with the Spurs? He's like with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Manu Ginobili, and you're like,
he just dwarfs them.
All of them. So the picture yesterday, I don't know forgive me for not knowing, there was one of the draft where it's Victor Wembanyama, Maxime Raynaud, and someone in the middle who's obviously far shorter than both of them. And I'm like, hey, Maxime's right there, 7'1". I mean, he's not as tall and as long as Victor Wembanyama, but you're like, all right, it's not like this incredible disparity. But yes, the Sacramento Kings did keep their pick at 42. They did get Maxime Raynaud, and like some of you have suggested, we got this on the text line from the 415. You had G-Man's son Bob on the other day, and he said he would have drafted the Max guy, and it's funny how things work out, and the Kings drafted him. Yeah, I think he was talking about him if the Kings could get into the first round. A lot of people had him as a first rounder, late first rounder, or at least early second rounder. And based on that, and is what I was saying earlier in the show, again, we are going off what the people that do this for a living, the people that have their draft boards and their mock boards and where they think they should place guys and where people would draft them. It feels like the Kings did well. And this is such an uncertainty. I have always been fascinated by the draft process in every sport and trying to find talent because people lose their jobs for getting it wrong. And you're relying on 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-olds, whatever the age may be of the person you draft. And I think there are so many factors that come into play here. And to try your best to predict how someone is going to perform for you, I think is really difficult. But it's probably not different than, someone trying to make the great hire at a job and trying to find the perfect fit. Sometimes you get it right. And sometimes you don't. And why doesn't it work? Or why does it work with so much success? I think if you have the best possible support system for the player and the best opportunities, that's about all you can do as an organization. And the example I would give is if we pick a player that has been drafted to an organization that is pretty highly respected, like the Spurs have always kind of been that organization. And I think we've used this example before. But Kawhi Leonard was a guy that, some Kings fans wanted years back when he got drafted, but he went to San Antonio. And at that point, when he was drafted, they were still Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, Pop, championship caliber team. And Kawhi Leonard was not only talented, but also come into a situation where, look, help the team, but we're going to develop you as well. And if we flash back Kings fans to 2009, 2010, Kings are winning 17 to 28 games a year. Bad team, lottery team, consistently picking in there and trying to find their way. And when you draft a guy like Tyreek Evans, it's different when you say, all right, we're picking a guy this high at 4, and we need you to save the organization. Follow that up with the next year. I think Cousins was 5th. Hey, Also, you paired with Tyreek, save the organization. One of you become the face of this organization. DeMarcus was so incredibly talented. And how would he have been in another organization? Well, I think the talent was too good for him to not be successful. But would he have been better off in another organization? We'll never know, because that's the reality. And I think that's the hardest thing to figure out. Like, why was Tom Brady that good? The situation in New England, obviously he's talented. He worked hard. He had good coaching. He listened to coaching. He took care of his body. All these things. There has to be an incredible drive to be good. A commitment from everybody, from the coaches, from the organization, from the player. Opportunity, making the most of the opportunity. Look, Brady was a backup. Brady was a late pick, and then injury, and he came in and performed, and then never lost the job, and then obviously became one of the greatest of all time. So, those are few and far between, but when you take Cooper Flagg, you have huge expectations because you have the whole draft class to choose from. He's got all the hype, all the measurables, everything looks like he's going to be great. So if he doesn't, it's probably more a reflection on him than Dallas, but you want to make sure if you're Dallas, you've done everything right to give him the best chance to succeed. So when you're the Kings and you don't have a pick in the first round and you trade up to get in there and get Nick Clifford, who isn't being asked to come and save the organization. And in the second round, when you draft Maxime Raynaud, who's not being coming in to ask to save this organization, it's come in, do all the things that we've seen as far as highlights and strengths that you do, the versatility of Clifford, a wing, a guard, a small forward, a rebounder, versatility, two-way player, experience, maturity, all the stuff that Scott Perry told us yesterday when he joined us, that what he's looking for. And the same for Maxime Raynaud. You can't teach 7'1". You love his size. I see a guy that'll be able to be a floor spacer. You see his highlights at Stanford. I think he would be a good complement to Domantas Sabonis. I know when we mentioned Bob Gerald before from hoopobsession.com. He is big on the idea of Sabonis at the 4 with a center that could play around him, and whether that's Valanciunas or Raynaud. I mean, that's something the Kings could be looking at. You've got different possibilities here, playing together, playing at separate times. And then you work on the things that he needs work on. It's look, he still went 42nd. Doesn't mean he can't be a great player, but obviously some other teams saw some flaws and some things that they didn't decide to take him. So you work on those things, and some of them develop quicker. Some of these things and habits and under different coaching, playing around better players, I think is always a way for good measurements. And, I'm going to, kind of hit a couple of examples. I think back to when the Kings got really panned for taking Papagiannis. I even said it then. I go, look, I don't know enough about Papagiannis. The Kings obviously liked him. On draft boards, he was scheduled to go way lower, but he was going to go. But if you like him, you take him. Now, he didn't work out. And I think when I could see what the Kings thought they were getting. And then I remember very early on going to Summer League in Vegas and going, ooh, this is going to take a little bit of time here. He's not ready. He's physically slower, and he needs to, really work on some things here. And ultimately it just didn't work out for him in the Kings, and it was a bad pick. Now, is that partly a reflection on the Kings? Sure. Partly a reflection on him? Absolutely. So look, this isn't an exact science. I think other GMs have said this for the most part. In the pool of 59 to 60 players taken, they generally get the right guys in the league. There'll be some two-way guys, some free agents that are undrafted. But for the most part, they get the right guys in the league. The order is never right. And why? I don't know, because it's not easy. Why is Joker, who's going to be one of the greatest players this league has ever seen, as everybody talks about famously, goes drafted in the second round of a Taco Bell commercial? I mean, SGA, reigning MVP, champion, finals MVP, went 11th, taken by the Clippers, has already been traded. He was thought of as a good young player but it was really about the draft picks that OKC was getting. And then boom, he develops in a completely different organization. I mean, is SGA going to be an MVP with the Clippers? I don't know. We just don't know. But he became one with the Thunder. It's a really fascinating thing to study, and I don't know how you do it and how you get it right. You just try to get it right more times than not. We're going to talk a little bit more about that coming up later too, about the draft process and how you could really just go more on feel than knowing, because you just can't know for certain. All right, when we come back, the 7 o'clock hour, a reminder that Stanford head basketball coach Kyle Smith joins us at 7:30 to talk more about Maxime Raynaud. But we do have 3 for Madness coming up, and we're going to bounce around a little bit more on this draft process, where we think we got it right before in the past, where we've missed. And there's continuing news going on at Sacramento State. Haven't had a chance to talk about in a while. That story continues with more developing. We have that and more straight ahead on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Free wellness, red light therapy, infrared trim pod, cold plunge, halo therapy, massage, cryotherapy, sunbeds, and more. All services all week, all customers free during Wellness Week at California Sun Wellness Spas. No sign-up required, walk-ins welcome. Free at all California Sun Wellness Spa locations. This week only, CaliforniaSun.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the Employee Pricing Plus sales event?
Anyone can get you employee pricing, but at Hoblet, it's all about the plus that you can only get here. Save up to $13,000 off MSRP on brand new 2025 heavy-duty Ram 2500 and 3500s. We have over 500 new Rams available, so your new Ram is waiting at Hoblet.
Well, how do you like the new heavy-duty trucks?
I love it. I took the new Ram 2500 with the high-output diesel and 8-speed transmission to Tahoe last weekend. And I have to say, I've not had this much fun driving a new truck in a long time. I've been driving diesels for 25 years, and this is easily the most fun, most powerful, and most responsive truck so far.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
13,000 total net savings on select new 2025 Ram 2500 and 3500 Laramie after 4,000 factory rebates and 9,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 2,500 select inventory bonus cash and $500 on the job upfit. Must show eligible upfit. Aid to this net savings. Sample VIN 525043. See dealer for details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Plus, get free home delivery with most smart beds, limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret, AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret, AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Plus, get free home delivery with most smart beds, limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Oh, and that's a hard foul. Let's listen for the call on the floor.
The taxpayer owes back taxes. Penalties and interest are assessed and wage garnishments to begin immediately.
The IRS never misses that call. I wonder if they will challenge it.
The call is under review.
Priority Tax Relief has been called in for a review. Priority is the best in the business at negotiating your tax debt and has even eliminated the debt for some clients. Priority Tax Relief is saving their clients millions of dollars every month.
After a careful review from Priority Tax Relief, the debt has been eliminated. No foul on the play.
Whoa! That completely changes the game, folks.
If you owe more than $5,000, call Priority Tax Relief, and in minutes they'll review your case for free with a direct line to the IRS to see if you qualify for life-changing relief. No more worrying about wage garnishments or frozen bank accounts. Call Priority Tax Relief today at 800-899-2289. That's 800-899-2289.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Call now. Priority Tax Relief.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. 3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, we're going to get into 3 for Madness here shortly. And again, a reminder at the end of the show, Friday fun and games to wrap up the week before we get you to Allen Styles. And keep it locked to Sacktown Sports all day long. We got programming 6 to 6 every day. So we're going to go 6 to 10, then Allen 10 to 2. Of course, the Drive Guys this afternoon. A lot more NBA conversation, draft coverage, more on the Masai Ujiri news. If you missed that last hour, no longer a part of the Toronto Raptors front office. He was relieved of his duties there. So bit of a stunner there. Dusty Baker joins us in 2 hours at 9 o'clock. And later this hour, in 30 minutes, we're going to visit with Stanford head basketball coach Kyle Smith. Get the coach's perspective on the Kings' latest pick, the second rounder yesterday, Maxime Raynaud. He also coached against him when he's at Washington State and has coached, Isaac Jones, Jalen Wells. So some guys that have made it to the NBA and just kind of do some player comparisons there as well. So we look forward to talking to him. Carmichael Dave is off today. He is back on Monday. Chris will be off next week. Big trip. Are you revealing where you're going, or is that a secret?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. What's the reason? What's the cause? What's the deal?
Never been there before.
Oh, it's just a city you chose?
I didn't choose it.
Oh, it's a group.
Yes.
And what's is this the fishing trip?
No.
Oh. And so just to
this
check.
is the same group as the Boise trip.
Oh, gotcha. And so Boise trip was to check out another city, which Boise got the thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boise's a cool city. I don't know a lot about Asheville. What were the choices?
It's basically just that one. Actually, it was that or Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. I haven't looked. What's your? Just coming back from New Orleans, it was sticky. Do you have a
low 80s?
But what's the humidity?
High humidity. Yeah, that's like, ooh. I don't do well in humidity.
I would say I don't know who does, but I guess I feel like I've gotten better every year that we've gone to New Orleans. I always dread it, and then you're in it, and you're like, oh, it is so bad, and then you're like, but
it feels like when it's hot here, and then for some reason someone put a wet blanket on you.
Yeah, and you just can't avoid it. And I remember like one of the days we had one of our family reunion things that was outside, and you're just like, I mean, I have no chance. I'm just drenched in sweat. And I go, well, you know what? So is everybody else. So whatever. We're all in it together.
So I haven't had a pick yet. So my push is for New Orleans next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have some recommendations for you.
You dabbled in college.
Is there any specific plan on this trip as far as things, or just you're going to explore and figure out?
I found a distillery next to a pinball museum in Asheville.
So you'll be checking that out?
There's been talk about a mountain coaster in Gatlinburg, Tennessee that we could be driving to.
Okay. And then I don't know the food scene, but that's probably always kind of fun to check out each city, kind of what that's like, food and bar scene or whatever. Fun. All right, Chris, it is time for 3 for Madness. We have 3 questions. We're kind of bouncing around in a lot of different topics. Let's go with question 1.
Sacramento State's pursuit of joining the FBS continues to hit roadblocks. What is the latest, and how do you think this will turn out?
Okay. Well, we haven't had a chance to talk about this in a little bit, and there is a lot going on with Sacramento State. While I was gone last week, Sacramento State is in its continued pursuit to move football to the FBS level, which is the highest level of college football. They're currently in the FCS and currently in the Big Sky Football Conference. They are no longer going to be in the Big Sky Football Conference after this year. This will be their final year there. And they had their pursuit, as we've talked to many people here, whether it was Mark Orr or the president, Luke Wood, the Sac-12 was created, and they're trying to get the football program into the Pac-12. Love the idea, love the thought, love the premise behind all of that, and a pursuit of a stadium and all these kind of things. Some new coaching hirings, Coach Marion, we know Mike Bibby, Shaquille O'Neal, all the stuff that the school has done that's gotten way more attention than I know that I've seen and working with the program for a long, long time. Potential stadium on the horizon. Look, a lot of things look promising. But to get into the Pac-12, you need the invite. And apparently they were not invited by the Pac-12 so far. Also, the Mountain West would be maybe a potential target. Another conference that, to my knowledge, has yet to invite the Sacramento State Hornets into their conference. So we had, like we said, the president, Luke Wood, and Mark Orr on the show. And there was a talk about filing for going independent, which I have questions about. I'm nervous about. I want what's best for this school, but I think that would be a really, really tough move. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Doesn't mean it's not the best plan, but I'm nervous personally about that. Now, there was a selection committee, kind of an advisory committee, let's say, that their suggestion was denying the Hornets application to try to go independent. There was a secondary committee that generally follows that first group's ideals, and they also said no. So what's next? That's where we are now, basically, the gist of this. There's still a desire by those that are running Sacramento State to get to the FBS. Again, I get it. I understand it. I think in some of the things, some of the steps along the way, there may have been some things that I would believe would frustrate others, alienate others. Look, they're no longer a part of the Big Sky, referencing the FCS level as, the JV level. I don't know if that was always the best idea, or trying to get into this conference only or that conference. Look, again, I appreciate the vision. I love the idea, but maybe there's been some alienating of people and of conferences. But with that being said, I also do understand what the president has said in the fact that there hasn't been a lot of adding of teams from the West into the FBS level. It's been done more back east. It's been a long time since someone from the West, has been added. And if the Hornets aren't being allowed to get into a league and aren't being allowed to get into an independent, what do they have to do? Now, that's where I think the meat and potatoes of this argument really is. I think if they had shovels in the ground, if the stadium was going, and I'm not as concerned, because I've seen some people say, well, they only won 3 games last year. That to me is irrelevant. They were successful before that for a couple of years. If they had won all 12 games and won the national championship, that doesn't mean they're more ready to move up. It's really more about the foundation of your university, of your program. And I think the Hornets have all the right goals and all the right visions, but maybe not everything lined up and in place. So that's probably one of the things the NCAA is looking at. But where this has become even more interesting now is the school now has found themselves a lawyer that specializes in kind of, I don't even know how to word this, but antitrust kind of situations here. This was a release from the president yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. Sacramento State has met every meaningful benchmark for FBS membership, and we believe our university, our students, and the entire Sacramento region deserve major college football. We're full steam ahead, and we still plan on playing FBS football in 2026. I mean, I think this is honestly fascinating. I think, again, like I said, I want what's best for them, and I hope that is, materializing and they get to what they're looking for. But how they get there is what I'm not certain of. And so Sacramento State is going to potentially go the legal route here. I think they're also going to be looking at every possible conference. There are a lot of rumors that Texas State is going to leave their conference and potentially get an invite to join the Pac-12. So that potentially leaves an opening there. Could they join the Mountain West? Could they get into the Sun Belt? Could they get into the Conference USA? This whole thing is crazy. Not just Sac State, but just realignment and the uncertainty of what college football will look like next year and in 2 years and in 5 years and in 10 years. So I think there is a financial engine that could really help the school. I think it's going to be tough unless they can get into a league, and that's probably what they're pushing for. So there's no finality to where they are now, but I think that's the best update that I can give you as far as what they are trying to do. And it's just, how can they get there? What's the best way to do it? And here's the update. Sacramento State has retained prominent antitrust and sports attorney Jeffrey Kessler, who has been helping the school in its efforts to move to FBS football. Kessler is exploring legal avenues after the NCAA's decision to deny Sac State a waiver to play FBS football. So it could get ugly. They may not go that route. I think they're going to be continuing to call all leagues and try to get into the FBS. Meanwhile, this year coming up in just 2 months, basically 2 months from now, starting an FCS season with a recruiting class that's got a lot of hype, a lot of attention, and a new coach and a new system and a new style. And I'm anxious for the season. I mean, I love college football. So there's a lot of things to be excited about, some things that aren't in people's control. And that's where I think things get frustrating. So it's something to continue to watch, certainly to monitor. And when we know more, we'll keep you up to date. We've had guests from the school, and we'll see where this goes. But there's never a dull moment right now going on over there at Sacramento State. All right, let's get to question number 2.
Question 2.
We have talked a lot this week about the missed drafts by the Kings. What is the draft you think they did the best?
Okay, yeah, it's like we got a positive look for a change. I will say this, doing this long enough now, I've hung on to this part of a story for a long, long time. Since 1994 is when I've been working here at the station and with the Kings.
That draft, I was 9 years old.
In that draft?
Yeah.
Do you remember that draft?
No.
That was the Brian Grant, Michael Smith, Lawrence Funderburk draft.
Oh.
Pretty good draft. The very next year, I would say, based on the way college basketball was being consumed still by people then, and the way the sport was being played, as far as people playing 2, 3, sometimes 4 years pretty consistently, felt like from a fan base was received the best by Kings fans. And why I say that, they drafted at 13 Corliss Williamson, and in the second round they got Tyus Edney from UCLA. They just watched those two guys play in the national championship. So, sometimes when you're like, oh, they drafted who, from what country, from where, What school? People knew who Arkansas and Corliss Williamson was. People knew who Tyus Sedney and UCLA. They knew them. So it was I know those guys. Kings did great. I'm super happy. And Corliss Williamson had a nice career. Tyus Sedney, a second-round pick, played a little bit in the NBA and played a little bit for the Kings. I think as you go along, you look at, Peja, a very successful draft, though, was booed when he was selected.
I would say that might be the best one just because of the player he became and also the timing in which he showed up.
Yeah, it was the combination of Peja picked, what it was received, how Jeff Petrie got booed. He didn't come over right away. And then his timing of coming over the same time they drafted Jason Williams, which was a little bit of an uncertain, like, who did they get? Who is this guy? And then the second you watch him, you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We got somebody
there
that's
talking.
fun.
He had some like trouble in college and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, like,
yeah. What are they getting into here? Who's this young guy? He's a little bit wild.
I remember my history teacher was way against it because of that. He's like, oh, he was an idiot in college.
When did he turn? Did he ever turn?
Like immediately.
Good. At least it wasn't like, I'm sticking with this take. Hito was a pretty good draft pick. I think there was a while there where I thought the Kings did very well in the 20s when they took Gerald Wallace, Kevin Martin, Francisco Garcia. But I did make this note. So, I know this is supposed to be more of a positive look at the Kings. But, Chris, when I was kind of looking at the draft, this is really the bulk of why the Kings were so bad for so long in that playoff drought run. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow. Since 2000. So, and really, I could probably go to, when did Spencer Hawes get drafted? 2000. That gives you I give it a, 2007. So I'm not even going to go back to 2000. Since 2007, the Kings have drafted in the top 10 13 times. They have 2 All-Stars in that.
Yeah.
And it's Hawes. Tyreek Evans, never an All-Star, but you got Rookie of the Year. Tyreek was a good pick. There were better picks, but he was a good pick.
If you said that year, like what's crazy, people kind of forget is that was the same year that Steph was playing for the Warriors.
Right.
And he was kind of,
Yeah, he was close to Rookie of the Year, but he wasn't what he became.
But he was also the thing that they were scared of. He was having ankle problems. He was missing games and stuff like that. So Kings fans were like, well, this was obviously the better pick.
Yeah, and that ankle stuff, because it started happening to Tyreek, but they're I remember there used to be a graphic or a stat like, well, Tyreek has played more games than Steph, and then it shifted. It finally started to switch, and you're like, yeah, Steph is obviously by far better. But Hawes to Tyreek Evans, DeMarcus, there's one of their All-Stars they drafted at 5. Bismack Biyombo, technically they moved. Thomas Robinson, Ben McLemore, Nick Stauskas, Willie Cauley-Stein, Marquise Chris, who they also moved. De'Aaron Fox, successful pick at number 5. Marvin Bagley at 2. Davion Mitchell at 9. And Keegan Murray at 4. Man, that many draft picks in the top 10. And you got 2 All-Stars, not
Thomas
even like
Robinson one,
Hall of Famer. It's just like, man. But, the draft, like we said earlier, is such an inexact science. Oh, technically, I should have added Zach Collins as another pick. He was 10th, even though they moved him for 15 and 20 for, what was that? Justin Jackson and Harry Giles. But I would think De'Aaron Fox, I remember that being a draft that a lot of people were very happy about. People were excited about what DeMarcus Cousins
Some days are bigger than basketball.
Yes. People were excited about what DeMarcus Cousins could be, but I think there were some nerves there about some of the red flags that were out there. But I would say in recent memory, I was really excited for the De'Aaron Fox draft. I remember watching him play. I think I remember people talking about, I do remember this, UCLA played Kentucky that year, and so many people were talking about Bam Adebayo. And so I remember like, I had heard about this guy. I got to watch him play UCLA. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, who's this point guard? And I remember being mesmerized by Fox. I remember Monk a little bit with him, but it was more about Bam and Fox at the time. And then the fact that Fox wanted to come here, played so well. The second he got here, like, oh my goodness, he's so fast. So I think that's probably one of the drafts I was most excited about, and Fox turned out to be pretty good. All right, let's get to question 3.
Question 3.
What player were you most wrong about and most right about over the years?
Let me see. Do you have any off the top of your mind that you like? Your
Kings or
just either one. You could be really any sport, any player, anything. Because I know the one I have for football for sure. That I was most wrong about for sure. And I've said it, and I have to wear it. I would have bet everything I had that Josh Rosen was going to be an amazing quarterback.
The
in the NFL.
most right I was about, and this was JJ Redick's final season at Duke, and it was everyone is talking Reddick versus Morrison, Reddick versus Morrison. Me and my friend Rob were the only ones that were like, Reddick is going to be a better player in the NBA than Adam Morrison. And we're like, you guys are dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. I was told he's going to be the next Larry Bird. That's how sure he was. And we were the ones that stuck to our guys like, no, like, I don't see it. JJ Redick is going to have a solid career in the NBA. And we're totally right about it.
I mean, there's
never did get that apologies from those guys.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys that I feel like sometimes you're cheating if there's a guy that's supposed to be good that, maybe some people like I had a huge man crush on Blake Griffin at Oklahoma. I'm like, oh my gosh. That's the year the Kings won 17 games. We're supposed to get the number 1 pick. I was so excited. And Blake Griffin was really good. I know people maybe at the end like, no, he was good. Blake Griffin was a really good player.
What also helped him, though, was Chris Paul as his point guard.
True, no doubt. But I think, how much fun would we have had those? We wouldn't have had Chris Paul.
Him at the dunk contest in the Kings jersey.
Man, there's little things you root for. I'd rather have a winning team than having a guy that's winning the 3-pointer, the dunk contest. But for that time, if you're struggling, at least to have a player, you're like, Jay Will came in. If the Kings weren't good, it would have been fun to still have Jay Will, but they also were good and had Jay Will. So it was a sweet spot. But man, and people always told me like, you think Josh Rosen's going to be that good because you're UCLA honk. I'm like, I'm telling you, this has nothing. I've watched every play of him. He's going to be the most amazing quarterback in the NFL. And he was awful. And that's why I just don't know how. He was drafted high. Other people kept pursuing him and kept trying to get him. And it's so inexact.
NFL is such a tough thing, too, because you rely, especially at quarterback, they want to make it all about you, but you rely so much on who's around you.
Yeah. But even him, like he bounced to different teams and he was bad everywhere. I'm like, oh, man.
Because I always think about Aaron Rodgers, how the Niners took Alex Smith, and there was talk about maybe the Niners taking Aaron Rodgers. And Alex Smith had just such a tough, 4 or 5 years, first 4 or 5 years, just because the team was terrible. They changed coaches every single year. He never really got a handle on it until Harbaugh came in. And to be one of those things of what if that was Aaron Rodgers, where he was lucky enough to sit for a couple of years behind Brett Favre,
right,
and be completely ready. And he had such a solid team when he started. Like, what if those roles were reversed? Will we be like saying, like, man, Alex Smith is like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and Aaron Rodgers, he is promising, but never really
kind of
did much.
Yeah, or not even a bust, but didn't quite live up to the hype.
And why does he keep going to these podcasts? Nobody knows who he is.
From the text line, J. Ross, I was most right on Josh Rosen. I knew he was going to be a bust. Didn't see anything special from him. That's Danny in Chula Vista. Well, good for you, Danny, and I'll wear it. Couldn't have been more wrong. I'm trying to think NBA wise or Kings wise. I know we talked about it.
Why didn't you tell the rest of us? Why did you keep it a secret?
I do remember talking about Damian Lillard to people that would listen to me. Ronnie Price, I saw him come through and play Sac State. I think now again, he's not this amazing player, but he was at Utah Valley State. I'm like, I think this guy's an NBA player. This is kind of amazing.
Do you know who had a run of just like, man, he was right every single time? Was Sean Cunningham.
Oh yeah,
because I remember the Tyreek Evans one. He was like, I really like Steph Curry, and I was just like, well, what about his ankle stuff and that? He's like, man, he was really good. And his other one was just like Damian Lillard. Like, that's the guy, I think. And then Kawhi was another one. He's just like, man, I wouldn't even mess around. I would get Kawhi if I was the Kings.
Wasn't there? I thought you were going to say Scott Pollard.
Scott Pollard. He had
Kansas guys nailed.
Yeah,
down, right?
he had Robinson. He's just like, this guy is not an NBA player.
Yeah, right.
He was,
wait, what?
He was so right.
And everybody was, at the time excited because the Kings, again, back to mock drafts, he was supposed to go 2. Kings were 5th. He was still there. Sacramento takes him. It's like, well, hey, look, this seems like an incredible value. So this is going to be awesome. It was not.
And the thing I hate about that is because they literally got him just because he, quote, dropped down to them.
Seemingly.
But like,
and
there was
went
a
next.
reason why the teams that worked him out did not pick him.
Yeah, and from what I'd heard at that time, too, I heard the Kings really liked Lillard.
Yes.
And it wasn't like, we weren't even thinking Lillard. No, they did, but I think it was, like you said, hey, we didn't expect Robinson to be there. We better take him. He's got an incredible chance. And again, why did that not work? Why did people have him as high as 2 and think that could be great and he could be great, and it just
Lillard said he knew he was going to the Kings.
Man. Here's a 209. Appreciate this. I wanted Sammy Watkins over Khalil Mack. Okay. Jeff Petrie told the Maloofs to draft Giannis. They chose Jimmer. Yeah. Well, sometimes you get other.
That's like I've heard stories too that Jimmer was 100% Jeff's pick.
I've heard that one as well. So you never know, but interesting times. All right. How interesting is it going to be for the Kings with Maxime Raynaud? We're going to find out because Stanford head basketball coach Kyle Smith will join us. Tell us what the Kings are getting in their newest selection. We'll do that next.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a 2-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
The Roseville Auto Mall is Northern California's ultimate destination when looking for your next vehicle. Find the largest selection with 20 top brands. Find spectacular deals during our big 4th of July sales event going on now at the Roseville Auto Mall. Driven to be the best.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip, if a firm presents it's local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples. That was easy. In-store, online, and on the app.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at ChooseMat.com.
Get to your local Toyota dealer because the 4th of July sales event is on. Nothing says summer like the open road. And with these deals, that road trip starts now, not later. Get a low-cost lease on the all-hybrid 51 MPG 2025 Camry or Dynamic RAV4. And meet the all-new 2025 4Runner. The hottest deals of the summer won't last long. Pack your Toyota with your favorite people and get ready to roll. Toyota, let's go places. Offers available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit at 6/30/25.
In local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
With the 42nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Maxime Raynaud from Paris, France, and Stanford University.
That's right. Not far away from us, Maxime Raynaud was polishing his game, and a lot of people had him on draft boards late first round, certainly early second round, and instead, Sacramento fortunate enough to see him and draft him as the 42nd overall pick. And really excited to see what he can be, but also want to find out what he is, what we know about him, what his college coach knows about him. And so we welcome in the head coach at the University of Stanford, Stanford head men's basketball coach Kyle Smith. Joining me, Jason Ross. Coach Kyle, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. Congratulations. Look, you've had guys drafted before, but it's a little bit of an honor for you. How was last night for you seeing Maxime get it drafted?
Oh, it's awesome. The guys work so hard, and where he came from to where he is now is amazing. And to land close to us is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I got a former Isaac Jones I coached the year before. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big Kings fan.
Well, we appreciate that. That's for sure. I'm sure you're glad you coached him as opposed to coaching against him. I'd like to start there. What was it like when you were at Washington State and kind of watching him develop, kind of coaching against him?
It's an interesting story. His coach in France reached out to me before his freshman year and said, "Hey, Kyle, do you think this is someone you'd be interested in?" I watched about 3 clips and I went running to my assistants. How come we don't know about this guy? And so I had a good impression, and then it took him a little while, but going against him, I just thought you could always see the talent was there. It was just a matter of, him getting the experience and getting the reps and growing and developing. And boy, did he.
Yeah, it sure looks like, statistically, he had just an amazing season last year, led the nation in double-doubles. You asked and got a lot from him. So was last year kind of the perfect marriage for him as far as work, development, confidence in his game, and then production? Looks like you got a ton out of him last year.
Absolutely. It was a good match in the sense, like you said before, I tried to recruit him and then I had to coach against him. And so I knew what a good player he was. And so there was no, once he said he was staying and his attitude was awesome about it too. It was kind of a match made in heaven. I love to play really skillful. We run a lot of NBA stuff, what they call open or the 5-out stuff. So he's kind of ideal for that, whether you want to play him like Sabonis a little bit. I'm excited that he's going to get to learn from him just being professional. But he also can, he can hit corner threes as a 7-1 guy. He can be, something like that. I think he's a lot like Kelly Olynyk, who's had a really nice career in the NBA. So I think you got a steal.
Yeah, there's, look, coaches will always tell you can't teach size. just that frame, 7'1". How did you and how does he utilize that to benefit him?
He's just he was one of the nation's leaders in rebounding. Start with that. He's got a really good net. So his size, he protects the rim. He's got that with the perimeter skills he has, and then defensively being able to, and he can move his feet too. So he's almost built. I always say he's like kind of moves like a 7'1" tennis player. He's kind of well proportioned. You'll see as you get to know him. I think he'll get out there, and he's got really good feet. And he's just a two-way player, so he's going to be really good.
Yeah, because you know the NBA too. I'm sure you're watching as a fan of it, and you know, as a coach, you're always watching what everybody's doing. And the way the league works, like, look, at 7-1, then the other team, like, all right, let's get him in a switch, let's get a guard on him. I mean, look, if you're going against some of the best guards, that's going to be hard for anybody. But how do you think if he's put in some of those situations, how will he adapt?
I think he's better at that, and that was kind of the selling point with NBA guys, and they're concerned as they should be. I said he's better on the switch than probably guarding. You know, he's going to have to get stronger to guard some real physical, strong guys. That'll be more challenging to him. But as far as the number one thing for those bigs, he can move his feet, and then you can play him as a stretch five on the offensive end. So he's putting a lot of pressure on whoever they have on that end with the pick and pop and his ability to put on the floor and score. So he'll need to grow in some time there, but he's got an awesome work ethic, great attitude, awesome teammate. I think Kings will be impressed.
Talking with Stanford head men's basketball coach Kyle Smith. You mentioned, when people reached out to you, I'd be curious about the Kings, if they did reach out to you, and what other NBA teams kind of were looking for. What kind of information and intel were they trying to get on Maxime?
They were obviously trying to figure out, what if he could defend at this level, and it's pretty obvious he scored. I think he has a very well-established resume. I mean, I think he's the only guy that's averaged 20, 10, and made over 53s at this level since Kevin Durant. So there wasn't a lot, and his character is kind of impeachable. He's a computer science major, math minor. He's got a great charisma. He's a wonderful guy. I didn't have anything negative to say about him, so I didn't know where they were going. Whatever. And I said, I coached Sacramento's own Jalen Wells, and I was like, he's all at Jalen. So, and I had Muhammad Gay the year before, and they all three got drafted in that same area. And the last two overproduced. They have 102 starts from, second round. So I feel really confident that Maxime is as good or better than those guys.
When the Kings traded up to get into the first round, I thought personally that this might be someone they would be looking at 24. They took Nick Clifford, which a lot of people are excited about. And then when knowing they were at 42nd, I thought, oh man, I don't think there's a chance they could get Maxime. I'm personally surprised he was there. How about you? Are you surprised that he was at 42?
Yeah, to be honest, because just the activity like Orlando, Phoenix, Indiana, Brooklyn, a lot of they were really in that. I thought it was maybe 20 to 40. And literally 10 days before, I would have said 20 to 28. I would have thought pretty confident. And then, we were a little surprised. And, that positional size, what he is, people started look like, people had different needs. And that's why you get in the second round. It seemed like a lot of wings were coming off the board there. And, but it doesn't matter now. He'll have an opportunity, and he'll have to make you got to earn your way anyway. It would have been nice to get that first round status, but he's a worker, and he'll prove himself.
So when you coached other guys, like you mentioned, between Isaac Jones, who we know here, and Jalen Wells, like you said, those guys have done some nice things to get, Wells had a phenomenal season this year. Did you kind of know all along when you arrived at Stanford, like, yeah, I'm this guy's going to be in the NBA?
Yes. Yes. I really felt it was excitement that I was like, this guy should make it. And the first thing you have to have usually is positional size. And he's oversized. He's really an oversized foreman. And so you got that. He's very skilled, and then he's high character, really intelligent, and just still, he hasn't played that much basketball comparatively. Some of those guys. I mean, he's, he played in France. He didn't even play in the INSEP, but he's had some national team experiences. He's really the same age as Victor Wembanyama. So I think there's really bright future here.
And the whole thing about, drafting a player is, you get them in your system, you want them to grow, and people talk a lot about ceilings and floors. So, I mean, look, it's all going to be on him and the Kings and how they groom him. But what do you envision, a potential ceiling could be for Maxime?
Well, I think they'll realize that I think he's a potential starter. I mean, not necessarily for sure, but I think he just can be it because I do think his size, he can defend, and he's super skilled. I do think somewhere that's a possible. I think he'd be a great, if he makes it to what he can do, I think he'd be a great fourth or fifth option floor spacer out there all the time. And that'll be, the strength and conditioning and investment there and defensively and that. And like I said, he's got some Lithuanians there that can bring him along. They're that kind of grit that they have.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I do think he can get on the floor and be a stretch five as a rookie. Sometimes I think he could be able to get out there because I know as a coach, I'm sure Coach Christie feels the same way. When you get all that shooting out there, you don't have to call plays anymore.
Yeah. And you think
everything becomes a little easier.
Yeah. And you think Coach, you mentioned him earlier, but you think he could spend minutes and reps and rotation time with Sabonis on the floor together?
Absolutely. But he'd probably stick Maxime in the corner and let Sabonis wheel and deal.
Yeah.
He's the same thing, floor spacer, a little more side, help on the rebounding front. If the NBA teams, I think they're starting to get back there and play two bigs and put those and run some high-low stuff and horns action with those two would be awesome.
Yeah.
I really think that because Sabonis is used to doing that from college. His little time spent at Gonzaga, they run as well as anybody. But maybe I'm making a little plug for plug the Sacramento coaches. Like, hey, I said the same thing with Isaac. I said Isaac's one of those. He's a 4 or 5 as well. That's super skilled. And they play him at the 4 and put him in the corner, or or he's an undersized center. And I'm like, put both those guys out there. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Oh, I even saw somewhere where you said, and last thing with you, Coach, that you said, look, he blocked shots, but he could probably block more. You were kind of protecting him because you needed him on the floor. You kind of said, hey, don't go for as many of these.
No, he was not allowed to try to block shots. And so I said, but the same thing with Muhammad Gay. We had him, and everyone's like, he doesn't block shots. I said, we could not function with him on the floor. And actually, by the end of the season, he got pretty good because he's so good and he has such good feet. If he actually stays on the ground, guys will shoot in his hand more than just the recovery blocks and stuff like that. But no, I think the Kings got a steal.
Well, we are looking forward to it. Congratulations to you, Coach. I know there's a pride in that for you at Stanford.
Absolutely.
And now we know we're definitely going to see you around at some games. I look forward to that too. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate it. That's the head coach at Stanford, Kyle Smith. Well, look, I mean, obviously the coach is going to say some pretty encouraging things, but I like what I heard there. Did you like what you heard there from him? Let us know. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. More from the chat, more from the text line. And when we come back, just some more overall thoughts on just the draft alone, not only the Kings, but the last 2 days. We do that next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get one free set of Brake Best brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Copper with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. Are you curious if Americans are hitting the road this summer? You bet they are. Domestic leisure travel is at one of the highest levels since the pandemic. 53% planned vacations this summer, up from 48% last year, with an average of 3.1 trips per person. Flights and hotel-based getaway plans? About 44% of Americans will take trips requiring air or hotel stays, spending on average of $3,860, totaling $450 billion. Still, it's not luxury travel expected. Travelers are trading pricey international trips for road trips and microcations, booking late, looking for deals, and favoring domestic destinations. That extra domestic spending could boost local economies, fueling gas stations, restaurants, and hotels. But leaner budgets and delayed bookings could pinch airlines, resorts, and tour operators. So yes, Americans will travel this summer, but smarter, nearer, budget savvy, and that balance will ripple across our economy. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Mosaic Wealth, member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Oh, and that's a hard foul. Let's listen for the call on the floor.
The taxpayer owes back taxes. Penalties and interest are assessed and wage garnishments to begin immediately.
The IRS never misses that call. I wonder if they will challenge it.
The call is under review.
Priority Tax Relief has been called in for a review. Priority is the best in the business at negotiating your tax debt and has even eliminated the debt for some clients. Priority Tax Relief is saving their clients millions of dollars every month.
After a careful review from Priority Tax Relief, the debt has been eliminated. No foul on the play.
Whoa! That completely changes the game, folks.
If you owe more than $5,000, call Priority Tax Relief, and in minutes they'll review your case for free with a direct line to the IRS to see if you qualify for life-changing relief. No more worrying about wage garnishments or frozen bank accounts. Call Priority Tax Relief today at 800-899-2289. That's 800-899-2289.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Call now. Priority Tax Relief.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill.
day in a first round. So, look, when you look at big boards, you look at mock drafts, you look at other people's decisions, they had him as a first rounder or early second. So he was a little surprised. And now you just hope the Kings can take all of the things that he did. I was looking at his some of his game logs from last year. I mean, when he was kind of asked to be the man, good gosh, Chris. I mean, I see 17, 11, 3 assists, 20 and 10, 26 and 10, 25 and 12, 28 and 12, 24, 10 and 3 with 4 blocks, 16 and 16. We had a game early on in November, 32 and 16, 2 blocks, 2 assists, a steal. Look, he's a guy that when you see the video, there's some pretty nice plays, looks pretty athletic. The size is attractive. Can he play 5 with Sabonis at the 4? Can he be a backup? Can he get in the rotation? Can he spread the floor? Can he guard? These are all things that we're going to find out pretty quickly.
The way Coach described him is basically what everyone's been asking for someone to team up with Sabonis in the front court.
Yeah, I know when we had Bob Gerald earlier this week, he wants Sabonis to be at the 4. He'd love to see a big kind of present day 5 that, could help complement Sabonis. Now, I don't know if he'll ultimately be there this year as a starter. Who knows? That's why you get him in. You got Valanciunas. I think the Kings, you still go for talent. You go for best player. I think they may have hit 2 things here, kind of a best player at 42 and size and need. That was nice.
The one thing I don't like about when people talk about the draft is like, well, he was picked at 42nd, so blah, 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 blah. And literally the only time that matters is on draft day.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you're on the team, like it doesn't matter where you're drafted, if you're drafted. Isaiah Thomas was one of the Kings' best draft picks, and he was the last pick of the draft.
Yeah, and it went from, I mean, the reality of when you're picked like Isaiah Thomas or in this case Maxime, I think, your first goal is to try to make the team. And that may seem so basic, but that's what Isaiah Thomas was trying to do. And it's like, oh man, he's probably going to make this team. And then it's like, then you're going
to. And it was like, oh, that's cool. He's going to make the team. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, goal number 1. Good. I'm an NBA player. I've made the team. I'm on the roster. Then it's like, man, this guy's actually pushing people around. He's pushing the starters. He probably needs to play a little bit. Now he's playing. Then it's like, we can't take him off that he started. It's like he just moved up the ladder. And you're like, he's too good. He's too important. And then being 60 became more of a, wow, they got him last. Look, he's the starting point guard. That's fine.
He was in MVP talks.
Right. Later, when he went to Boston, it's like, this is unbelievable. So you hope you find something like that when you draft a second rounder. Can he make the team? Can he contribute? And then can he be in your rotation? So the Kings are hoping for that. And when I kind of look back at just my overall thoughts of the draft, there's a couple things that, first off, that I kind of forget every year. And then when you watch the draft, I mean, you look at mock drafts, you look at what people say, you watch video, and then, I mean, this seems so basic, but you forget that like this is one of the best days of their lives. And when you see the emotion that either a player or the family or the loved ones or the friends, whoever is connected. Did you see the guy yesterday, Chris, that they called him Pop Pop? It was the guy that I can't remember. I think he got drafted to Memphis, a guy from West Virginia. And then the grandpa just like, that's my boy. That's my boy. And just like, and he's just crying. You're like, oh man, it just gets you.
The one that got me was the Warriors pick before the Kings second round pick. Kobe.
Oh yeah. Was it 2 weeks? I don't know. Kobe. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But his mom was there. It's like, oh yeah, your mom gave you the nickname Fuego because you're on fire, and she's your biggest fan, and she is just bawling her eyes out. Yeah. It's just like, oh man, this is so cool.
Yeah, so you get the emotions
to
of
make
it.
me actually feel for a Warriors player.
Exactly.
But to be fair, he was just wearing the Warriors hat and he's going to Phoenix. So.
Well, and that's the next part. Again, I know it bothers people every year. It still bothers me. I mean, the amount of people that have been drafted in the other team's hats. I think there's a fix. There's some way you can do it. And then even like, it's not even like where people hide it anymore. So literally, person's wearing Memphis Grizzlies hat. And they're like, well, what's it like joining the Minnesota Timberwolves organization? I'm like, so we know they've been traded. And they're like, yeah, I'm looking to help Memphis or Minnesota, whatever team they get traded to. The other thing that I think we have to continue to get in our heads that I think teams are going to continue to draft for best player available. And I think that's the right way to do it, not necessarily need. Unless it's like splitting hairs, you're like, this is the best player or need if you get into that situation. But if you look at what teams did, and the example I have for you would be San Antonio. They picked number 2, and they took Dylan Harper. I mean, they have Fox, they have Castle, they have other people that they could utilize at the point guard position. You take players that become assets to your program. And if Dylan Harper ends up becoming better than De'Aaron Fox and Castle, then that's a great luxury. Then you move those other guys. You take the players that are going to help you the most. I think Portland did that. They already have a ton of big guys, and they got another big guy. You sort it all out. The draft is about adding talent, adding assets. And then the last part, we kind of discussed this earlier, and I thought it was a great quote I heard from Jay Billis, who does this, who watches college basketball, who scouts the combines, who does all this. He goes, I think his quote was, and I like this, Chris, it was, you just don't know. You just have feelings. Like, it's a feel. It's like, does Dallas 100% know that Cooper Flagg's going to be good? No. But their feeling is he will be. And that's the easier one because, look, he's been good for a while. People have been targeting him. He's the number 1 pick. But the Kings have a feel on Nick Clifford. The Kings have a feel on Maxime Raynaud. They don't know. They think they know. They want to be right. Everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to get these picks correct. But you just got to trust in your eyes, your metrics, your staff, Scott Perry, the others that are advising, your scouts. You just have to go off of your feel, your instincts, your history, and you try your best to get as high as a batting average as possible. It's not easy, but that's what you go for. All right, so the Kings have done the draft. What's next? Free agency starts Monday. How are they going to shake out this roster? What do the Kings need to do? Let's go over that when we come back to start the 8 o'clock hour here on Sacktown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! Lob ball. Jones went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Hot summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock. Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
West Trading 2011 renewal. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, there's a real chance of Jacob Wilson starting the All-Star game. As of the start of the A's current trip, he had a 250,000 vote lead at shortstop. Next up, the final vote of the top 2 finishers. If he wins that, he'll become the first A's shortstop to start the game in 50 years. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
And with the 24th pick in 2025 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Nick Clifford from Colorado State University.
And how fitting that he is.
With the 42nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Maxime Raynaud from Paris, France, and Stanford University.
All right, those are your 2 newest Kings. The Oklahoma City Thunder technically drafted Nick Clifford, obviously into trade with the Kings. The Kings in the second round yesterday draft Maxime Raynaud. Again, thanks to Kyle Smith, the head coach at Stanford. Huge praise for his now drafted NBA player. Joined us in the 7 o'clock hour. Dusty Baker joins us 1 hour from now. Welcome back in. Jason Ross here with you. Christopher Ladd. Carmichael Dave is off today. He's back with us on Monday. And we continue to highlight the draft, the work by the Kings, and the offseason, as it's basically now here. The draft is done. We mentioned it before. There are elements, the ways you get your team better via the draft, via trades, via player development. I mean, that's the thing that we've seen some success here recently that's been better, I would say, for the Kings and in recent memory as player development, and then certainly free agency. And free agency is here. It's starting on Monday. So that is the next piece of the puzzle for the Sacramento Kings.
And I will be gone next week. But if I call in next week, it's because the Kings are part of a 3-way draft that got them Devin Booker and Jaime Jaquez Jr.
A 3-way trade?
Yeah.
What are they giving up, according to your sources?
They are giving up
nothing.
Yeah, all second round picks.
I don't see it. Who says no?
Their next 20 second round picks.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a jersey before, NBA jersey. If they got Booker and or Jaquez, are you buying one of those Kings jerseys?
I don't know. I'm not really a jersey.
I know. That's why I don't.
I'm not an NBA jersey guy. I don't know.
Like
maybe if I get like my arms better and get a better tan, then I'll go.
You can wear a shirt underneath.
I'd definitely get a Jaime. Yeah, I would.
Jaquez.
I really wanted to. I couldn't get it in time. I was trying. I wanted to get Toscano Anderson jersey, and I wanted to go to Stockton to try and get it signed, but
for those 10, was he? He's a little more than 10 games, right?
I think it's about a month.
Yeah, a couple 10 days. Well, that's what's next for the Kings is free agency and trades. I mean, obviously trades can happen from the text line 209. I think the first question is, who are the top free agents? Well, the list, it just depends on, technically, if you look at a list, like LeBron James is a free agent. I don't think, you got guys with player options. Kyrie Irving, we've already heard the restructuring of contracts there. But there's guys to watch, to follow. We talked to Sam Amick yesterday. And Sam talked about keeping your eye on the Kings with point guards, certainly Dennis Schroeder. Russell Westbrook was mentioned, Tyus Jones. I'm sure there's going to be some others that the Kings are going to look at. But I think now you start to look at the next box has been checked as far as adding Nick Clifford and Maxime Raynaud, guys that, certainly you could move if you want to, but those are guys you drafted under team control, favorable contracts. You obviously drafted them because you like them and you have them as potential assets down the line. So the next phase for Scott Perry is to kind of really look at the makeup of the current roster. And Dave and I have talked about this, that Scott Perry pretty famously, I guess, went through when he got to the Knicks and basically overhauled that entire roster. I don't know what Scott likes from this current roster. By the way, Scott's supposed to join us next week. I think now the draft stuff will be wrapped up. I know he checked in yesterday briefly, but I think we're going to have him early next week to kind of recap this. And certainly free agency gets started on Monday. And I do expect the Kings to be players in that. But I'd be curious, from you guys out there via the text line, 916-339-1140. If you want to call in, 1-800-920-1140. On the chat as well. We'll go through some of those. What you would like to see next, because I think logically, if you add Nick Clifford, you already have Keon Ellis, you have Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter. You have some things that I think can be addressed, need to be addressed, and I think depth is proven to be important for this team and around the league. So it doesn't mean you can't have all of those guys, but I think you have still some other holes to fill. Certainly point guard, I think should be attacked. I still wouldn't mind another 4 or 5 or 3-4 kind of wing 4. I think this team is missing more of those guys that, like when Toronto comes through, Minnesota comes through, a few teams like that come to mind where you're just like, man, just guy after guy that checks in all seem to be 6'6" to 6'10" with arms that stretch the key. And you're just going, the Kings just don't have those kind of guys. So what is next? What do they need to do? Where do they need to approach, and what do they need to look at here to really form this team into something that, by all accounts, whether you like it or not, it doesn't appear that this Kings team or organization wants to completely tear it apart and go in a direction where they're building with a bunch of draft picks. They might tear it apart, but I don't think it would be done for example, we go back to the Fox trade. The Fox trade could have been in an angle where you trade Fox and acquire young talent back in return or a bunch of future picks. Instead, it was a little bit of that, not a ton, but it was mainly, hey, let's get Zach LaVine in here, a player that ownership has been infatuated with in the past. The Kings signed him to an offer sheet years ago and ultimately didn't get him, but now they have him. So they wanted to get talent that kind of kept them going and pushing for a playoff spot, which they didn't get to. So based on that premise, based on everything we've seen, I don't think it's a team that wants to fully tear things down, go 100% young, and build with draft picks in the future. So how do you thread that needle of changing the team, because last year's team wasn't good enough, finding the right recipe of fit to this team, and get better? And that's a challenge. That's a big challenge for Scott Perry. It can be done. My parallel would be the first Beam team. Look, that team was kind of a team that came out of nowhere. They'd already made the trade of Halliburton for Sabonis. Now Sabonis was going to be here for a full year. You had Fox, but that offseason they draft Keegan. Still had Barnes. You picked up Herter and Monk, and just kind of that all morphed pretty well together to earn this team a 3 seed. Now, as they went along, you're going, you could probably upgrade Barnes. Herter's good. Maybe he's better off the bench. Could Monk start? You answer questions along the way, but while you're doing it, you're enjoying it. That first Beam team year, a great season, a lot of fun, all-star appearances, executive of the year, coach of the year, all that stuff. So the point is, I always say this, I don't think a lot of the teams are far off, but the Kings were off enough. And so I think they have enough pieces. I mean, I don't think they're just completely absent of talent. Now, the talent didn't mesh well enough together. I was excited when they got DeRozan. I think DeRozan's a good player. I think DeRozan, Fox, Monk, Murray, it sounded good in principle to me. And then when you kind of put it all together, you're like, yeah, it's okay. It wasn't awful. It wasn't great. I mean, I think they showed us that, right? Like losing to the Wizards and bad losses, sweeping the Cavs, sweeping the Rockets, beating Boston in Boston. So that's kind of the team they were, around 500, right? 40 wins. So making that jump to the group that, if we look at the West last year, Houston made the significant jump. Now they had won 40 games the year prior, I think it was 41-41, and just missed out on the play-in opportunity. Well, it was a little bit more challenging last year, but they got all the way up to 52 wins and won and got the 2 seed. I don't know. Look, the Kings beat them 3 times. I never looked at the Rockets like, man, this is an amazing team. They were good. The Thunder were an amazing team. Like, we could see that all along as it went along, and then they ultimately win the championship. But if really you start to break that down and you look at Houston, the Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, T-Wolves, Warriors, Grizzlies, that's your top 2 through 8, and they're separated by 4 games. Now, there's the drop right after that to the Kings and to Dallas, and then you got Suns, Blazers, and all the way down. So how do the Kings, if that seemingly is what they're trying to do, right? I think we can all agree, like, I don't think they're stripping it clean and saying, it's going to take us a 2 to 3 year process. It looks like everything is with intentionality to be a competitive team this year. So how do they do it? Well, I think they've got to address, like I said earlier, that backcourt. It's a glut of players that we look at it as it's not good enough here, and it wasn't. But DeRozan can help somebody. LaVine could help somebody. Carter could help somebody. And that somebody could still be the Kings. It's just, what is the right mix? And I think the conversation that was really telling to me yesterday with Sam was his belief, his intel is the Kings are looking at and talking to teams about Zach LaVine. I'm sure they are. I would.
But I was told that he was completely untradeable.
Well, that might be the case. That might be what's going on here. I would look at dealing someone like Zach LaVine. That doesn't mean Zach LaVine can't stay here, can't be here, can't help you. I think based on what we heard from his podcast and Scott Perry, I think what he said about Zach LaVine, I think there's a lot of truth to that. I still think he can be a winning player on the right mix. The Kings weren't that right mix, and it wasn't a long runway that he had here. But I think we've seen DeRozan and LaVine together, 2 good players on their own, together, unless they were in the right mix, which, look, Chicago added Vucevic at the time. They had Ball. I mean, like Caruso. All those things, you're like, yeah, I'd trade for Ball. I think Caruso would help teams. DeRozan's a good player. LaVine's pretty good. Vucevic is a good center. It wasn't working for them. And so far in Sacramento, we haven't seen that work and materialize here. Again, those guys with Sabonis, they're all good. Fox is good. Like, everybody, Keegan's a good player. We're talking now fit of putting this together. And I think that's the challenge of the puzzle pieces. So
I would have liked to have seen LaRavia more with the Kings last season.
I agree. And I think as the season went along, Chris, I think you could argue they did trade Fox, but I'm not even that convinced that I would have liked to have seen, and you can't go back now, but I would have liked to have seen Valanciunas, LaRavia, and Fox.
Yeah.
Like, kind of that group going forward, but that wasn't what they had. So now you got to figure out, could they have played LaRavia, Valanciunas more, not had LaVine, some of the guys they had, and probably still finished about where they were in that 9-10 range. I mean, I don't think they would have fallen off the map.
I think the tough thing was after the trade, how many games did they have where everybody was healthy?
Right. So
like a lot of what Doug had to do was mix and match. That was just after the trade. And then with the injuries, it was even more of that until we're not even like trying to find the right fit. We're just trying to get like the right number of people on the court.
Yeah. And so also, how broken was the team? I still say this. I wouldn't have traded Fox when they did. I think if you waited till this summer, again, and I don't know what kind of agent pressures, internal pressures, but I will say when kind of the word was out, I know if I was a teammate of De'Aaron Fox, I would have been bothered by that. I respect everybody's options to look around, to maybe end up somewhere else, but when you're kind of come out publicly and say a situation like he felt he would be better off on a team that hadn't made the playoffs in 6 years in San Antonio based on what their future would be. And if I'm like Monk and I'm DeRozan and I'm Sabonis and I'm Murray, I'm like, wait, we're not good. We're not cool. We're not good enough for you.
Fragile ego, fragile body, weak mind, weak spirit.
I think that had to have its impact on the team. Then you move them, and now you're adjusting, and ultimately, it did not get the Kings to where they wanted to go. So I think it's obvious. I don't think you can run it back the exact same way and just add these 2 draft picks. You do have free agency. You do have the ability to trade. But again, I'm going to go back to what Sam was saying. I think they are looking to try to move Zach LaVine if possible. I don't think they got a lot of takers there. I think DeRozan is movable, but they may not be hearing what they want for DeRozan. And then that's why I think Malik Monk's name's coming up a little bit more, which I'm not the biggest fan of trading him, but I'm not naive enough to go, well, you can't trade any of these guys. The team wasn't good enough. So I think everybody should be available. Everyone should be up for the taking. But I think there's some guys I would be less willing to trade.
Would you? I'm trying to think, because like when Halliburton got traded, that was just like an oh my God.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of Kings fans at the time that were just like, that's not someone that you can trade. But I mean, like following the team is just like, what are you talking about? Like this team hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Like, everyone needs to be available. Is there someone on the team now where you would have that same reaction?
That would really be shocking.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I think some a little bit more. Like Sabonis would still surprise me.
Yeah, they'd be like, whoa, but it wouldn't be like, oh my God. It wouldn't be that type of situation.
And as weird as it sounds, maybe Keegan or Ellis, not that they're the best players, but contract, like you would really be, if there was a trade that had Keon Ellis or Keegan in it, I feel like that's the sweetener for another team that got you somebody pretty good. Not that, again, I'm not saying you're getting an all-star out of that, but you're like, I would be less inclined to trade them just based on the contract. And like Keon Ellis is outperforming his contract. Keegan is still on his rookie deal. Sabonis is paid a lot. LaVine is paid a lot. And they're good. They've earned that. But those are the kind of guys I would be less looking at Sabonis. I think DeRozan is the one that they ultimately can move. I would look at LaVine. Monk, I don't want to, but again, I know he's someone that's the thing. Again, it's weird when you're a 40-win team. You've been out of the playoffs 19 of 20 years. I don't think this is the exact same position they've been in the past where you go, God, there's just nothing here. They have stuff. It's just the stuff that's here when it's together, it hasn't been right. And it's interesting. I think the Caruso example is good. Caruso on his own on a team that's like, let's put him on Charlotte last year. He's going to help them, but he's just kind of another guy on a bad team. But you put him in Chicago, who was a little bit better. You're like, yeah, he would help a lot of teams. He helped the Lakers, helped them win a title. He really helped.
Did he help them win a title?
With an asterisk. But he helped the Thunder. And I think if Caruso was here, he's the kind of guy where you go, yeah, he'd help the Kings. But was he enough to do it? So like it's about talent upgrade, it's about fit upgrade, and those are challenging things is going forward. Here's a couple texts. Let's see what we got here. The discussion is missing something. What fans want is irrelevant. What does Vivek want? I think Vivek is happy with a 40 to 43 win team that is a play-in team, keeps fans in seats, never will be a second apron team and have luxury issues, and has enough talent to be competitive most nights. Yes, to some extent of that. I mean, I truly believe this. I haven't asked Vivek. I think Vivek wants to win a championship.
Yeah. The thing I don't like is like, oh, Vivek doesn't want to spend money, but at the same time, like,
true.
Who have they missed out on because they didn't want to pay?
Yeah, I don't think the Kings, I think they've been guilty of this before. I think they've been cheap or stingy, or what I say cheap. Look, they're paying guys millions of dollars. I don't think that's the case. I think if I were to say fault, I think he's been impatient. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to win a title today. I'm not saying he needs more patience. I think there's been too much reactionary moves. I mean, I think I would not have fired Mike Brown. I wouldn't have. I think some people, I know Dave was like, they have to. I mean, I wouldn't have. I would have given him more time. Now, you don't have to give him 10 years, but they were going through a bad time. I think they would have got out of it. I personally do.
The thing, I was against the firing, but at the same time, hearing the stories about how much the team wasn't a fan of
at
him
times, yeah,
before re-signing him, I could see like, okay,
yeah,
that was such another weird wrinkle of the season of Fox saying, if you want me to stay, then Mike Brown has to stay. And a lot of his teammates were not
on board with that.
And then Fox got his guy, and it seemed like there was a lot of games last season where once they were out of it, Fox seemed disengaged.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is your guy, man,
right,
and you can't play for him. And now that you're losing, you're saying, I don't want to be here. Like,
yeah, it was a weird, I think this is what I've been most critical of the Kings. I feel like they've continually done this. They've been chasing mistakes. And so to your example, Chris, I know they did this a second time, this same regime where they weren't sure if they were going to keep Luke Walton, weren't sure, did the extension, and then fired him in the season. It's like, you weren't sure. And then you extended him, and then now that looks bad. They weren't sure about Mike Brown. It felt like they were going to do it, but they weren't sure. They ultimately did it, and then they fire him in that same season. They extended him, and you just go, you did this twice. And so, either you got to go in and commit and be a little. There's got to be a again. Every player and every coach doesn't have a 10-year leash here, but I feel like once you kind of committed in the offseason, you need to commit.
And then also on top of that, you got Monty McNair coming in, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, we're keeping Luke Walton," and everyone's thinking this doesn't seem like your decision,
right?
And now again with Scott Perry,
yeah,
we love Doug. We hope he's
absolutely
the coach, but at the same time, he's coming in and saying, "We're keeping Doug Christie." It always feels like they make mistakes, but at the same time, don't learn from their mistakes.
Right. And that's what you're hoping for here. Now, in all of that, so people, and it's totally fair. I'll probably be one that defends the team more than maybe even I should. But when people go Kangs and all the Kangs doing Kangs things again, yes, they've done it. I did the whole draft thing earlier about all the mistakes. But anytime they make a mistake, that just gets lumped together, and I guess that's fair. But they also have done some good things here, and that's what I'm trying to point out. Their roster isn't an embarrassing roster, and so that's why when people look at this and go, just the simple saying of, well, they missed the playoffs 19 of 20 years, that they're in that no man's land. Standings wise, they are. It's going to be difficult, but I don't think it's impossible for this team to have an impactful offseason and then be a team that's in the mix next year. In the mix. I'm not, there's not the jump to a conference finalist or a championship type team. But again, what was the difference in, let's go back to last year's standings. Why were the Rockets a 52-win team? The year prior was the year they added Brooks and Van Vliet. They needed some grown-ups to the roster. They had the young talent. It got better. People would go, okay, Şengün's getting better. Jalen Green at the time. Kind of their roster, they had 40 wins the year before. They stuck with it. And then, boom, they jumped to 52 and had home court for everything but the finals and got some more experience. Okay. The Lakers made a significant trade to get to 50 wins and getting Luka Doncic. Denver has been good. Clippers, Minnesota, Golden State made a trade in there. Golden State was going down a road. It's it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know what this team is. You get Jimmy Butler, then it's we're going to win the championship. They changed their confidence on a move. Now they didn't, but they believed they could. So can you do that? Can you do that by moving DeMar, bye-bye Levine, keeping them, finding a fit with them, moving Sabonis, moving Monk, getting the free agent that fits, the point guard that you go, this is what the team was missing. These are the things we'll speculate on, we'll talk about, we'll have opinions on, but the people that get paid to do this, to evaluate, that's their challenge. And going from 40 wins to 46, 48, I don't think is incredibly impossible, but you also have to realize the 40 win and staying competitive could also be 34, 32. And you go, whoa, where do we go? This wasn't the plan. We weren't trying to go backwards, but we went backwards. We had the Phoenix year. Phoenix didn't have plans to winning 36 games and having the highest salary in the league and now just completely changing their team. But it happened. They didn't get it right. So that's what's ahead for the Kings. Try to learn from your past mistakes. We've been saying that for years. We'll probably keep saying that. But again, the year of Beam Team number 1, they kind of found the sweet spot. It's not, that roster wasn't like this most amazing roster, but they were able to figure out a little bit better. All right, still to come when we come back. What are others saying about the Kings? We'll let you know about that and more. And still to come, what's hot, what's not. We'll go streaking. Dusty Baker joins us at 9. Lots more ahead right here on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
3, 2, 1. I'm Ophelia Young in the KCRA3 Weather Center on this Friday morning. We are starting the day with comfortable weather under sunny skies with very little winds. Weather keeps warming today with temperatures climbing into the low 90s this afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
It's about time they
fix that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
Made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This July 3rd, get ready to ignite your summer at the Rundstrom Iska Firebreaker 90 at the legendary Stockton 99 Speedway with late models, mini stocks, pure stocks, legends, and mini mods. All out. Plus a massive fireworks show that'll light up the night. Get your tickets now at Stockton99.com. July 3rd. Be there.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and centrally located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo.
Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Adriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Tickets and info at CITPFest.com.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about providing summer smiles. During June, we're offering a Summer Smiles special, $149 off braces, or $250 off Invisalign, and a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Oh, and that's a hard foul. Let's listen for the call on the floor.
The taxpayer owes back taxes. Penalties and interest are assessed and wage garnishments to begin immediately.
The IRS never misses that call. I wonder if they will challenge it.
The call is under review.
Priority Tax Relief has been called in for a review. Priority is the best in the business at negotiating your tax debt and has even eliminated the debt for some clients. Priority Tax Relief is saving their clients millions of dollars every month.
After a careful review from Priority Tax Relief, the debt has been eliminated. No foul on the play.
Whoa! That completely changes the game, folks.
If you owe more than $5,000, call Priority Tax Relief, and in minutes they'll review your case for free with a direct line to the IRS to see if you qualify for life-changing relief. No more worrying about wage garnishments or frozen bank accounts. Call Priority Tax Relief today at 800-899-2289. That's 800-899-2289.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Call now.
Priority Tax Relief.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Welcome back in. Jason Ross, Christopher Lott, Carmichael Dave down in Southern California. Ooh. Going through orientation at USC. What if
gross?
What if Dave went to school with her? You imagine Dave on the college campus?
Like back to school situation.
Uh-huh. And he'd have to pay twice. Thanks again. Earlier in the show, we were joined by Stanford head basketball coach Kyle Smith. Dusty Baker is going to join us in about 30 minutes. Look forward to that. And joining us right now, when Chris said, "Hey, your guy's on the phone," I said, "Oh, Murph? Oh, it's JR. What's up, JR?
I'll be second fiddle to Murph. I'm okay with that.
You're third.
Hey, can you imagine old Dave doing a triple Lindy down there at USC?
I can, actually.
I could see him buying a dorm room and knocking a wall out and having a bar and a big party there. he would fit right in.
Yes.
Start doing the show from down there. Hey, Nicky C, our boy Nicky Clifford. Do you think he knew that he was being traded to the Kings before Oklahoma City picked him?
Why do you say that? Because of the suit?
Yes, that was awesome. I was trying to bring it up yesterday, but he looks so good, perfect for a King. I want to buy that jacket and wear it to the next game. He looked awesome.
I think you could pull that off, JR. You're one of the few that could pull off that two-tiered.
I do wear my suit when I see old Dave Newsom, whatever his name is, Deuce. He's like, "Why do you dress up for the game?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I want to see if I can get down on the floor, maybe a commentator or something." Right?
Yeah. See, you always got to work an angle.
Got to work an angle, and that was a good interview there. Maxine is pretty good. We watched him play a little bit there. I'm glad they picked him up with that second pick.
Yeah, what's the JR scouting report on Maxime Raynaud?
He'll get some time. I mean, he'll play a little bit in Stockton, of course, but I think he sees some time, and he's big enough to get in there and do some damage. Throw him in there with Sabonis and the big guy. I always draw a blank of his name.
I want to hear you say it. You can't remember?
The enforcer from our Euro trash. No, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good extra. And now we need that one extra. Go get ourselves a super point guard. But and then hey, that last guy, Isaac.
Uh-huh.
What does Exhibit 10 mean when they keep talking about Exhibit 10?
Oh my goodness, JR. Now you're asking questions that I have to look up. I don't know. Exhibit 10. He's talking about the last guy they added after the draft. It wasn't just Isaac. I know they added the big dude from Auburn too. Yeah, there's different things that, you know what, I'm just going to say, I don't know. Let's just go with that. I should know, but I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of different parameters now between guys doing two-way contracts, but I'll get that answer for you, JR, because I owe it to you, and I owe it to the public, and I owe it to everyone. Thank you, JR. JR's getting some good comments from the chat and from the text line. Again, 916-339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. Speaking of, I said this going to break, so I at least want to pay this off because, look, I said this earlier on the show, too. I think as a fan base, we're a funny fan base. We're supportive of the team. It's like, hey, you can't rip the Kings. Let us do that ourselves. And then we're very, like, the media never talks about us. But then when they do and it's negative, it's like, don't talk about us. But right now, I will say it's not, 100% certain this way. But last night, social media, after the draft, I was like, wow, people are actually saying some pretty good things about the Sacramento Kings. Kevin O'Connor, who has been covering basketball for a long time now, I would say feels like has not liked the Kings at all. To me, it just never seems like, man, he's always piling on the Kings. Here's what he said last night. I'm extremely bullish on Maxime Raynaud. I understand why he fell to pick 42 because of concerns about his defense, but he's just so skilled offensively. He can shoot it, attacks closeouts, pass, and handle. Could end up one of the steals of the second round. A-plus pick by the Kings. Okay. Again, doesn't mean he's right, but that's one of those things like, oh, they're saying nice stuff about us. Keith Smith, who we've had on the station before, on the show before. Nick Clifford and Maxime Raynaud is really good work by the Kings at the draft. Clifford's versatility gives Sacramento some different lineup options. Raynaud gives them a different look at center. Nice couple of nights for the Beam team. Again, I like hearing that. Doesn't mean it's the Kings got the A+ or that they had the best draft, but I like hearing that. I mean, who doesn't? Those are very, very nice things that are being said. Guest earlier this week, friend of the show, friend of the program, friend of ours, Bob Gerald, hoopobsession.com. Let's go back to his board. Again, it's his. It's not necessarily a mock draft. It's his rankings. And so you can look at it as a mock draft, but this is how he feels his board would look like. If we go back to that, he was very high on Nick Clifford, who the Kings got at 24. He had him 12th. He also told us about Maxime Raynaud, and I thought that's somebody the Kings may be looking at in the first round. He had him 15th. So, look, none of this is all exactly foolproof, but I like I said earlier, I like hearing these things and people saying nice things about what the Kings have done. And the way I put it, it just feels like it makes sense. They've done some things that other people have appreciated. Our own Frankie Cardicelli, our Kings insider, put out on the mock drafts yesterday or 2 days ago about the average standing of where Nick Clifford was. Here's what he put out yesterday. NBC Sports mock draft had Maxime Raynaud 22nd, Yahoo 24th, ESPN 28th, Bleacher Report 28th, Tankathon 28th, Hoops Hype and USA Today 29th, and CBS Sports 30th. Kings got him at 42nd. So you want to feel like you won something, you got some value, you were productive. At this moment, without them playing a second of Summer League action, without them playing a second of wearing a Kings uniform, I like the logic behind their moves, the sense behind them. I do like what people are saying about them as far as the nice things. And you just hope it materializes, as we said, with the coach from Stanford. He was very high on Maxime. We look forward to talking to the players probably next week at some point, seeing them in Vegas, and watching Doug Christie and the coaching staff get their hands on them and see what they can help turn them into. And I like the Doug Christie comps on Nick Clifford, the size of Maxime Raynaud and the skill. So, look, I think that's one way, like we said, to add to your team, to make them better. Now, free agency is the next quest, trades potentially in there, and continue on the player development. Each guy, like Keegan Murray, year 4 has got to be better. Sabonis, everybody's kind of improved, but they all have to keep offseason needed to be busy, and there can't be like, they came back as the same player. It's not going to work for this team. They don't have that luxury. If these guys don't get traded or moved, the guys that come back have to be a better version of themselves. And then the other part of it is some good fortune, some luck, some health, staying together, playing as a team, sticking with one another, rooting for each other's success, all the things that Scott Perry said he's going to be looking for in the players that he has as Sacramento Kings. All right, still to come, Dusty Baker joining us at 9 o'clock. We got What's on Deck, celebrity birthdays in the 9 o'clock hour, Friday fun and games. But up next, who's hot? Who's not? We'll see how we did with streaking. That is all coming up as we continue here on Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter, right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SacktownSports.com to join.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck. And she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Do your summer plans include travel? Make sure your prep includes more than just flights and hotels. Stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccination, especially if you're 65 or older or have certain health conditions. There have been surges in COVID-19 in the summer, too. It's important to help protect yourself no matter your destination. So check eligibility and schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. That's VAXAssist.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on. Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dicks.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Great conditions, a fun layout, and unbeatable value. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines are Sacramento's #1 rated golf destination. With 27 holes, a spacious practice facility, and professional instruction, there's always a way to improve your game. Planning a tournament or corporate event, they offer customizable packages and award-winning catering to make your event effortless. Timber Creek is easy to find in Roseville, but hard to forget. Book your round today at timbercreekgc.com or call 916-774-3851.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, there's a real chance of Jacob Wilson starting the All-Star game. As of the start of the A's current trip, he had a 250,000 vote lead at shortstop. Next up, the final vote of the top 2 finishers. If he wins that, he'll become the first A's shortstop to start the game in 50 years. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Baseball, fireworks, and patriotic fun. Join the Sacramento Rivercats on July 3rd for our Independence Eve extravaganza, presented by Budweiser. It's a summer tradition packed with fireworks, baseball, friends, family, and unforgettable memories. Bring the whole crew and enjoy America's pastime under the lights, followed by a post-game fireworks show lighting up the Sacramento skyline. It's the perfect way to kick off Independence festivities. Lock in your tickets for July 3rd at rivercats.com.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Avriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Hotlet Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Tickets and info at CITPfest.com.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
All right, Dusty Baker set to join us in about 15 minutes. Jason Ross, Christopher Laud here. Chris takes over now for Who's Hot and Who's Not. Chris, let's start with Who's Hot.
The Detroit Tigers.
Okay. Well, is it because they just played the A's, or?
No, they're tied with the LA Dodgers. Dang it. Sorry, this is messing up. They are tied with the LA Dodgers for the best record in Major League Baseball after 81 games. The last time the Tigers had the best record in baseball at the halfway point, they won the pennant in 2006, 1984, and 1968.
I knew they I didn't think about the 06. Okay. If you had to bet now on the American League, would the Tigers make the World Series?
Yeah.
Who are you picking? Not the Tigers.
Not the Tigers.
Not the Tigers. All right. Well, they're hot. Who's not?
North Carolina draft picks.
Okay, explain.
They have not had a top 5 pick in the NBA draft in 20 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. 2005 was the last time. I think it was Ray Felton.
Wow.
And they have not had an all-star come from North Carolina since Vince Carter.
Jeez. I would not have guessed that. I mean, Duke was littered with the draft. That was the other thing, too, about the draft observations. Who is it? Harper and Bailey went 2 and 5, and like from Rutgers. And I went, where was Rutgers? Why weren't they any good? They had 2 NBA players taken to the top 5. Duke had a great year, and they had a bunch of guys in the top 10 and top overall. The draft is just a bizarre thing. It really is. But I did not know that about North Carolina.
Yeah, crazy. I just saw that today, and it's like, whoa. It's one of those ones that you read it and you have to double check.
Yeah,
wait, is that right?
And then you're like, no, but what about? No, I don't have any examples. That's strange. I would not have guessed that at all.
Yeah, let me see if I still have it here. So Raymond Feltman 20 years ago was their last 5.
Charlotte.
And before then, Marvin Williams. He was the number 2 pick for the Hawks.
Yeah.
And then,
probably, like Carter, Stackhouse.
Yeah, so then the year before that, so they had 2 All-Stars in a row. They had Vince Carter, and the year before that, Antoine Jamison.
Yeah. Rashid, I don't know where Rashid was taken.
Rashid was top 4.
Okay, but this is also
or he was a 4th pick.
We're going way back now.
Stackhouse was 3.
Man. I wanted to ask you one thing too.
And Harrison Barnes was their last top 10 pick.
He was 7, right?
Yeah.
7 to the Warriors. One more thing on the draft too. Did you?
I'm an idiot.
What?
Kobe White. He went 7.
Oh, okay, but
yeah,
still not top 5. Actually, I said the other day I wasn't a fan of the draft being 2 days. I thought the NBA draft in 1 day was perfect. I don't know. I liked it better this year. I don't know why. Maybe because I guess the Kings were picking 42nd. I just thought it was smaller. It was a little bit. I mean, it wasn't Stephen A. yelling at people. I thought the crew was better yesterday. It just, I don't know. I
don't like the setup for it.
You didn't?
No, because it's just like they're in just like a ballroom or something like that.
Well, and the other part that's a little bit weird is, and I don't know the right way to do this or not, because you're doing a television show, but the presentation is really what's the stage and what's his name? Mark Tatum announcing the picks. But then when you're saying stuff, the room can hear you. Like they were talking about Spike Lee, and then Spike Lee's standing up, like, oh, they're kind of going interacting with him. I'm like, oh, so they can hear him or they can hear you over the speakers. It's just a little bit weird. I don't know the right way to do this, but the NFL draft is just crazy. How many people go to that?
I don't understand it all.
I mean, the other part about that, like, I don't think I'd ever go to a draft. Maybe like just to see one once, I guess. I have no desire, but at least basketball moves. Like football, there's 15 minutes between picks.
And then you have to bring out, oh, this guy representing the Chicago Bears, he won the halftime Cheez-It contest. And then he has to come out.
He's like, go Bears!
Go Bears! Thank you to the great people from Cheez-Its for making this possible.
Let's go, everybody up. And they're like, no, we're not Bears
And for the 5th round, the 182nd pick.
Out of Duquesne, we take left tackle, Jimbo Farnsworth. I don't know. But the NBA draft, I don't know. I liked it better.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Darius Rucker.
Please give it up. All right, so that's who's hot. We've done who's not. Let's see if we're hot or not in regards to streaking.
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing?
We're streaking. Bobby Hill in our chat. Hey, Bobby says the draft coverage was so much better and informational, not having Stephen A screaming at everyone really helps. Yeah, the panel last night, well, I know the first night they had like an ABC show and an ESPN show. I think I was watching ESPN because I was getting away from Stephen A. Smith. But last night's panel was Malik Andrews, the host, Bobby Marks, and Bob Myers with their front office experience was good. Jay Billis, his college basketball background, and Windhorse. I mean, it was just, and people weren't yelling at each other.
Man, I do not like Stephen A. Smith, but I love seeing him with his daughter just because it humanizes him of like, oh yeah, he's this bigger than life personality, but still scared of his daughter.
Yes. I figured you'd like that. All right, streaking time. Dave was at a streak of 4 consecutive games. I'm at 2. Chris is at 0. Chris, you've been struggling lately.
Hasn't been good.
Yeah.
Real June swoon going on.
We're going to start with you then, because you're at 0. You had Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That guy's pretty reliable. You had rotten luck yesterday because Vladimir Guerrero left the game in like the 4th. Got 1 plate appearance. 0 for 1. So you stay at 0. By the way, our season, let's give a season update. Keeping these stats for a reason. Chris, you're batting .240 with 9 homers and 32 RBI. I'm batting .276 with 11 home runs and 45 RBI. And Dave's batting .251 with 14 homers. That's the show leader.
Here's what I don't like too. I've been getting like the best hitters of the league so far.
Yeah.
And just struggling.
Yeah. You've been missing out. So Vladimir Guerrero, 0 for 1, you stay at 0. I was at 2, trying to get to 3. I took from the Los Angeles Dodgers. I like pretty girls. Will Smith, that's where it started. You guys played it for me. That was your fault. Will Smith, he got up 3 times, and Will Smith got 0 hits.
Oh, you suck.
Sorry, it's over. It's over now.
It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
I just can't.
It was great.
And Dave at 4, his hitting streak started with Mookie Betts, went to Cal Raleigh, Rafael Devers, Hunter Goodman. Yesterday he took Teoscar Hernandez of the Dodgers, who got up 4 times, and he got 2 hits. Dave's at 5. Dave.
Wow, I hated that.
I'm with you. Has already submitted via text for his pick today. He is taken from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, he said Max Muncy. Do you think he meant the A's Max Muncy?
No.
Or the Dodgers Max Muncy?
I think we should give him the A's one just to be safe.
Yeah.
Because I know he wouldn't want to pick a Southern California player.
I know, he would not want to do that. All right. Well, he's got Max Muncy. I'm going to take... I need a hit. I'm taking the Major League Batting the average leader He's playing the A's. Aaron Judge. Chris?
I'm going to take the soon-to-be American League MVP, Cal Raleigh.
Really? MVP? That's funny. Place it in. Is this Doug Christie? You're channeling your Seattle love?
Shut up.
I knew I could get you. All right. 3 hours complete. One more to go. Our final hour is jam-packed. We got Friday Fun and Games. We got What's on Deck coming up, celebrity birthdays. But next, one of my favorites. I haven't talked to him in a while. Used to talk to him a lot in the afternoon show. Dusty Baker, scheduled to join us. We visit with Dusty Baker when we come back next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the Employee Pricing Plus sales event?
Anyone can get you employee pricing, but at Hoblet, it's all about the plus that you can only get here. Save up to $13,000 off MSRP on brand new 2025 heavy-duty Ram 2500 and 3500s. We have over 500 new Rams available, so your new Ram is waiting at Hoblet.
Well, how do you like the new heavy-duty trucks?
I love it. I took the new Ram 2500 with the high-output diesel and 8-speed transmission to Tahoe last weekend, and I have to say, I've not had this much fun driving a new truck in a long time. I've been driving diesels for 25 years, and this is easily the most fun, most powerful, and most responsive truck so far.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
13,000 total net savings on select new 2025 Ram 2500 and 3500 Laramie after 4,000 factory rebates and 9,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 2,500 select inventory bonus cash and $500 on the job upfit. Must show eligible upfit. Aid with this net savings. Sample VIN 525043. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Oh, and that's a hard foul. Let's listen for the call on the floor.
The taxpayer owes back taxes. Penalties and interest are assessed and wage garnishments to begin immediately.
The IRS never misses that call. I wonder if they will challenge it.
The call is under review.
Priority Tax Relief has been called in for a review. Priority is the best in the business at negotiating your tax debt and has even eliminated the debt for some clients. Priority Tax Relief is saving their clients millions of dollars every month.
After a careful review from Priority Tax Relief, the debt has been eliminated. No foul on the play.
Whoa! That completely changes the game, folks.
If you owe more than $5,000, call Priority Tax Relief, and in minutes they'll review your case for free with a direct line to the IRS to see if you qualify for life-changing relief. No more worrying about wage garnishments or frozen bank accounts. Call Priority Tax Relief today at 800-899-2289. That's 800-899-2289.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Call now.
Priority Tax Relief.
Hot summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock.
Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections in the Sacramento area.
$12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Less trading 2011 renewal. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
KHD 1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, we start our final hour of the show. Thanks again. Earlier in the show, talked a lot about the NBA draft and the Kings' work, where they took Nick Clifford a couple days ago, Maxime Raynaud yesterday, and we talked earlier to Stanford head basketball coach Kyle Smith. Very high praise. That's high praise. If you missed that interview, we did that at 7:30. I would really encourage you to go back and check that out. He had some really amazing things to say. Scheduled here shortly, we're going to visit with Dusty Baker and really look forward to him. I haven't talked to Dusty in a long time. Dusty's just an icon. Dusty's great. Used to do the afternoon show many, many times and had fill-in opportunities there. Talked to Dusty over the years. And just one of the great people. And I always love seeing him at Kings games. And he's just awesome. He is absolutely awesome. He's got a big weekend ahead for him, and we're going to talk to him in moments and, about several things, certainly baseball, where they are now, the Giants, his role there, and but his weekend ahead. So it's been a while since we had a chance to talk to Dusty, but he's going to be joining us here in just moments. We were hoping to get him on video, but I think it's going to be on the phone, so that's okay. We look forward to that. And like we said, it's Friday, the end of the week. We're going to go into the weekend the right way with some Friday fun and games and celebrity birthdays a little bit later in the show. So Dusty Baker scheduled to join us here. We'll still get back in a little bit more conversation on the Kings and what they've done here. And as the draft was very important, free agency is next. But without further ado, let's bring him in. It's been a long time since we had a chance to talk to him, but always love talking to the great Dusty Baker. Dusty, it's Jason. How are you?
Hey, Jason. First, who did the Kings get?
Well, they got Nick Clifford 2 days ago. They traded up in the first round to get him. He was from Colorado State. And then yesterday in the second round, they took from Stanford a 7'1" big man, Maxime Raynaud. And they all seem to be pretty excited about these guys to add to the roster.
Oh, great. I got so busy, man, I missed the draft. And, my family being a Kings fan, I was going to ask my son, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. So I'm hoping that they work out great. I hope the new general manager and new head coach, everything works out for us in Sacramento because, we certainly need a winner here pretty soon.
Well, it's not just your family, Dusty. We see you at the games. You've become a big Kings fan over the years.
Oh, yeah. Well, my dad was the original Kings fan.
Yeah.
And, he went to every game. I was out of town most of the time. Then when I moved back here, I go probably 5 or 6 games a year, but my son, he takes all the best tickets, whoever's coming in town. And so I get to go sometime when he doesn't go, but I enjoy it. I watch every game on TV because I'm a fan. I'm a basketball fan.
Well, you just always been a fan of a lot of different things. I know from talking to you over the years, hunting and fishing, and now your winery, and you're still involved in baseball with the Giants. You got your hands in a lot of different things.
Well, that's just how I was raised, I guess. My dad taught me to seize the day, carpe diem. And, that's how I try to live my life. I see a lot of people, a lot of my friends have passed over the past few years, and a lot of them, weren't that old. And so, you got to enjoy your life. You try to leave your mark on different people and their futures. You try to help them and, as well as helping yourself. And, I'm a guy that played all sports. I guess I'm the same way in my life. I like to do a number of things, and I try to enjoy all of them and be the best at it.
Well, I know we've talked in the past, but the Baker family winery, this has turned out pretty good for you. What's kind of the latest there, and how has that whole process kind of evolved for you?
Well, it's turned out good. Industry is a little tough right now all over the world, but we're trying to find innovative ways to to sell wine, to get our wine out there to different people, because I think we have good quality wine and at a decent price. And we started out just for fun, and I was giving away shiners to my buddies that played ball, Jerry Manuel, Jerry Royster, and all the guys from Sacramento, rolling office, and they told me, hey man, it's pretty good. And those grapes, that juice was coming off my property out here in Granite Bay. That was Syrah grapes, and one thing led to another. We ended up saying, hey man, maybe we can do this. And the guy that planted my rootstock, Chick Brenneman, who's my partner for 20 years, and I planted my first grapes here at my house, and then we grew and we went to Treasure Island, and then we got tired of driving back and forth, and then West Sacramento said, hey man, they opened their arms up to us, and I said, hey, let's go home. And so things have been going pretty good. We're just trying to grow at a slow pace, but at a quality pace.
Yeah, and I know you, Hank Aaron, who was an important figure in your life, a mentor for you, and you kind of did even a cab in his honor. Is that right?
Well, he made me do that. He told me, he said, hey, man, I want to be part of your company. I said, Hank, I don't need that pressure. I love you, but I just don't want that, that pressure. And, here's a guy that I looked up to before I started playing ball, and during playing ball, and after playing ball, and he's like my father. He was like my father away from home. And so he says, hey, I want to be part of your company. I want you to make me a bold cab. And that's what we did. Just like my mom, we have a rosé that my mom, all of a sudden one day, she goes, hey, I want a rosé. I said, Mom, you just don't go down to the to the store and slap a label on a rosé. It takes a little while. So she says, I want a rosé. So, she died before she could taste it, but the rosé, is in her honor. So, most of the things in my life, have been in the honor of somebody that was important in my life. And, that's how I feel in the wine business.
Yeah, we're talking with Dusty Baker. Dusty, I know you got a busy weekend too. You got a wine tasting coming up. You're also part of an event this weekend out at Yuba City with the first pitch. I mean, you got a lot going on this weekend.
Well, yeah, I do. And plus I got it's bobblehead night at the River Cats tonight.
Yep.
And so, I sat at the game last night with Dave Rigetti. We watched the game. We reminisce about old times and think about, during these, first pitches or wherever you are at a baseball game, you always run into somebody, who's, who you played with, or somebody you played against, or just like, tomorrow at the Marysville ballpark, I have Jerome Williams, who was one of my players, with the Giants. He's a coach out there. And so, you look around and, you always wonder what happens to this guy or that guy, but sooner or later, if you go around the baseball field, whether it's amateur or professional, you're going to run into somebody that you know.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm curious your perspective and someone that grew up in this region. And we had professional baseball here before, then it's been gone and in different levels. Yeah. But to have the A's here at that park too, I know the River Cats are still there. Did you ever think you'd see the day that there'd be Major League Baseball back in Sacramento?
Well, I was hoping so. I moved here after the Solons left. I moved here in 65, and baseball's always been big here. I mean, we had some great players come out of here. I remember one time while I was playing, we had like 20 or 25 guys that were in the big leagues that were from Sacramento, and we took pride in being from Sacramento. I mean, we took so much pride. If some guy wasn't hitting, we'd get on his butt for not, for not representing Sacramento. And so, baseball's always been big here, and I'm just glad that they're here. I'm actually looking at a picture of Ricky Henderson on my desk right here. When I think of the A's, I think of Ricky Henderson and my good friend and teammate Dave Stewart, who's helping out right now, and Shooty Babbitt. I have a long history, with the A's, but I have probably a longer history with the Giants.
Yeah, for sure. And you're still involved. You're not managing anymore after your great managerial career, but you said back when you're not retiring, you're always going to be around baseball. What's kind of your day-to-day, or at least your involvement still with the Giants?
Well, I go down there a couple of days a month, to watch. I watch every game on TV. I try to help Bob Melvin or give him some suggestions. And I also give some of my, some feedback, to the front office guys up there, Buster Posey and all the guys that are upstairs. But basically, I kind of leave them alone unless I really have something to offer. And then I go to the River Cats game here a couple of days a month also, to see some of the top rookies in the minor leagues, or to also see guys on the other side that I'd like to, like to have. And I say, oh, I like that kid, or I like that kid. And that's that's how we were found. That's how we were all found, by somebody. And a lot of times you're going out there to watch one person and you come back talking about another.
We just spent a lot of the show, Dusty. You asked about the Kings and who they picked. They just had their draft. And, it's such an inexact science, but of your years of experience as a player, a manager, kind of a talent evaluator, I don't know how you would explain it, but I'll ask, like, what are you looking for when you see, obviously things jump out, the way a guy runs or throw, like just certain things, but like, what do you kind of look for and you go, yeah, this is a guy that could be something?
Well, I'm looking for everything. That's why my wife gets on me for going out to the game so early, whether it's a basketball game, football game, or baseball practice. I like to go out to see a guy during shoot around, to see what he's working on, to see kind of improvements in his game, or you go out there to see if a guy's serious about it, or if a guy's a good time Charlie and he's fooling around all the time, or who gravitates to this guy or that guy. Does he have leadership qualities? There's more to it than just, can a guy hit, run, throw, and catch? And so, naturally, these are things that stand out. But I look for a lot of the intangibles that, the people may not see or may not recognize that, kind of jumps out at me. And so it's kind of fun, to evaluate talent. And you hope that, you're right more times than not. And then you see how far a person goes, and you say, and that increases your confidence on the next, guys that you draft, to say if I was right or wrong. And nobody's right all the time, but you want to be more right than wrong.
And I don't know if there's an answer to this one either. In your history, do you feel like when someone misses, and I don't need a player example per se, but like, is there a trait that you go, you know what? I feel like if the person's missing this, that may be why they didn't quite get to the level that I thought they could.
Not really. Sometimes it's an injury. Sometimes it's a mishap in a guy's family. Sometimes it's something in the background. Sometimes the guy may not be smart athletic on the field, or might be, not fast enough on his feet to think and to react. And so, there are a number of reasons why a guy doesn't make it. Sometimes he's in the wrong organization. Sometimes you're there with 10 outfielders, but if you're in another organization, you might be the number one outfielder over there. So, there's a number of reasons why, guys don't make it. I don't think anybody knows exactly why.
I want to ask you about the Giants. Halfway through, 44-37. There's been probably more good than bad just recently. A pretty rough series with the Marlins, but I think the pitching is spot on. I like some of the bullpen. Offense is the one, but adding Devers should help. Just as they get healthier, what do you kind of see for the back half of the season?
Like I expressed to Bob, when you're chasing somebody, you don't want to look behind you because somebody's chasing you behind you. But when you're chasing someone, you want to stay in the rearview mirror of whoever you're chasing. And, you just don't want them to run off. And then next thing you know, you're in the side mirror, and then they get nervous. And then you can possibly overtake them and make them nervous. But the main thing is you have to just stay in the race. It's a long season. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to get swept sometime. You don't like it. But the Giants have done probably better than most people, gave them credit for in the beginning.
Yeah.
And, I think Ed Devers is going to help. It takes a while for a guy. Very rarely does a guy come in and make a sudden impact on the team, because it takes time for him to get to know the town, to get to know the organization, get to know the players, for the players to get to know him. Back in my day when I was playing, when I was managing, one of the guys that I remember the most that had the biggest impact immediately was Fred McGriff in my first year of managing. And he came in and made an instant impact, and they overtook us, by one game in Atlanta. So, but that's kind of rare and far between. But the main thing is you just have to like remain confident. The guys, everybody's going to contribute. You got to give everybody a chance to contribute, and everybody wants to feel a part of it. Everybody wants to feel important. So we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, I'd be curious in your day as a player. Obviously people heard about way back when Babe Ruth pitched and hit, and is kind of a mythical figure almost. But then now we get here this many years later, and here's Shohei doing some things that are just absolutely absurd. What do you see when you see someone that's pitching that well and hitting like he is?
Well, I think of the days back in the day of Little League days.
Yeah,
that's the last time I've seen that. When guys like Bobby Bonds would hit 2 home runs and throw a no-hitter. And it's just hard to believe that somebody is that much better than everybody else. I mean, these are the best guys in the world. And the thing about Shohei, you can't dislike him because he's so polite. And, he nods at you before the game starts. I'm trying not to look at him. And then next thing you know, he strikes out the side, or he nods at you to say hello, and he says hello to the umpire, to the catcher, and then he hits a home run. So, he's fun to watch. I mean, he's not fun to manage against, but he's fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad. It just sounds like you're in a good place. I know you got your hands in a lot of different things. I can tell you, Dusty, from our text line, our YouTube chat, people just love you here in Sacramento. You've always been one of their favorites and our favorites, and glad you got the wine business going, the wine tasting tonight, the bobblehead tonight, the first pitch tomorrow. Man, you're just everywhere, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm everywhere, but I'm still a homeboy that likes to stay home sometimes.
Yeah, well, and I know we're going to see you at some Kings games again this year. We look forward to that. Dusty, congrats on all your success. We always appreciate checking in with you, and we'd love to do it again later this season.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. That's a great Dusty Baker. Again, busy time for him. As we mentioned, he's got his Baker Winery going on. He's going to be a part of the bobblehead tonight for Dusty Baker out at Sutter Health Park for the River Cats. And, of course, throwing out the first pitch tomorrow. Man, he's doing everything.
A few years back, I think it was some sort of like cheeseburger. It was like when all the restaurants a cheeseburger competition, and Dusty was out there with his wine, like where you could try it and stuff like that. And I was just saying like, "Hey, Dusty, how you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, good." And then he's like, "Sit down." And we were just like talking for like 15 minutes.
Isn't he amazing? And you're like, I just wanted to say hi.
And it's not like I didn't say like, "Oh, I'm from 1140.
Yeah.
Oh, I do this stuff with the Kings." I was just there literally saying like, "Oh, you're doing wine now. That's cool." And then him just like, "Oh, have a seat and let's talk about this."
I mean, again, he's one of those guys, like if you had an issue with that, it's a you problem, not Dusty. He's just always been that way.
Another one that I remember was at a Giants game. It was autograph day, where you got to go on the field and different players came and did autographs and stuff like that. And so it's before the game. And then they started like grabbing players off, like, "All right, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go." And Dusty was there signing every autograph for every kid. And it's like, security's like, "Dusty, we got to go. We have to, you've got a game coming up. You have to get out there." And he wouldn't stop until every kid got their baseball signed.
Yeah. And I think those are the kind of people
I was the last one. So I was the one that was like the most appreciative.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I appreciate people that do that. And just Dusty's just been that. Like we've had texters. He's a real one. I love Dusty. I mean, just again. And I love the fact that, when he was being recognized at Kings games as like the Cincinnati Reds manager, the Astros, everybody hated the Astros. It's like, yeah, but I like Dusty.
Yeah.
It's like that team was so hated. But it's like, hey, you can't hate Dusty Baker. And then he's introduced
people were happy they won the World Series, not because of him. Because of him. It's like, oh, he's never won one before.
That's exactly how I felt. Like, I don't really like the Astros, but I want Dusty to win one. So, but every time he's introduced at a Kings game, it's like, I mean, the amount of love he gets is awesome. And he's usually sitting like in the third row. Like he's not trying to be like, "Hey, I'm Dusty Baker." It's just that's who he is, and everybody loves him. And awesome guy. And I mean, also, like, and I know that's the way it works in a lot of sports, but I mean, for Bob Melvin and Buster Posey, just again, having resources like that
you also think about someone just having a bad day, like you catch someone on the bad day. I'm sure like
that happens.
Just like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to.
Yeah. I don't want to sign Christopher Lodd's autograph, an autograph for him.
And you just don't hear that about Dusty.
No, that's cool. But I also appreciated his perspective on when I tried to tie in what we've been talking about most of the day, Chris, about the Kings draft and the NBA draft or any draft, baseball draft and NFL draft. But Dusty said it, like you try to get them all right. You don't. But then I asked him, like, is there a trait or is there a circumstance or something that like in your history that you try to learn from? He's like, no, it's not. I thought his example was perfect. He's like, you could be a great outfielder, but you're on a team filled with great outfielders and you're like the 10th outfielder. Well, if you went to another organization, maybe you're number one. So it's opportunity. It's, some luck. I mean, look, all these guys are incredibly talented. It's pretty rare that you're dealing with a talent issue. Injuries, availability, durability, confidence. And I got to imagine a sport like baseball. I mean, there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if ego is the right thing. I mean, because when you get to that level, I think you've got a confidence in yourself that you belong there. But in baseball, when you're in one of those slumps and, we're talking like a 2 for 38 and you're like, man, I can hit anybody, but why am I not getting hits? I just, maybe the manager sits you for a game. It's like, oh, am I going to lose my spot? Why is he taking me out? Well, because you're just not hitting. Is it a mental thing? And then I think you just start to play all those games. And the funniest thing to me about baseball can be, and going to more A's games this year, just watching so many in person, the amount of times people hit the ball hard and it goes right to somebody. I can't remember which game it was. I want to say it might have been A's. It was one of the recent games I went to with the A's, and I think it was Lawrence Butler. Oh, yeah, it was Butler. Butler in like his first 4 at bats, because it was the day I picked him in streaking. His first 4 at bats, just on the screws. That's out. Nope, caught at the track. The next one, just a crushed line drive, caught by the right fielder. Next one, bullet up the middle, caught by the shortstop. I think he had another one, and then this last at bat hits like this flare, broken bat, bloop, and it drops in for a hit. And you're like, this sport is weird. He hit the ball so much better 4 times. And then just hits a little flopper, and that's the hit he gets.
I remember it was Derek Jeter, and it was some sort of like roundtable discussion with all the different like Jordan athletes. And he said baseball is the only sport where you do everything perfect and you get out.
Yeah.
You
right.
fail at it.
Yeah. And
like what you're supposed to do with the pitch is just go straight at the middle, and the pitcher can just nonchalantly put their glove up and you're out.
I hit it where it was pitched. I did the right thing and I'm out. And the other times you're like check swing, maybe turn. You're like, oh, that's a hit.
This might surprise you. That was a lot of my high school hits.
Or you even have a play like I can't remember who hit it now for the Angels, but hits this bomb and there goes Denzel Clark scaling the wall like Spider-Man and robbing and bringing it back. So it's just it's just bizarre like that. So anyway, thanks again to Dusty Baker. Really appreciate that. Let's see if we can squeeze in a call here before our next break. Again, more talk on the Kings and their draft. Let's check in with AC. AC, good morning.
Hey, thanks for keeping the ship alive while Dave's around and about or whatever.
You got it.
So a friend of mine was friends with Dusty Baker, and she was a young woman, and there was nothing untoward. It was just one of those just friendship kind of things, a genuine friendship.
Uh-huh.
And we went to a Giants game, and we were she was getting tickets from Dusty for the game, right? So we go to Candlestick, go up to the will call, and they say, sorry, we don't have anything for you here. And they said, who'd you get the tickets from? And then with my chest pushed out, I said, Dusty Baker. And they said, oh, you're supposed to go to the players' will call. And true story, I went to a Giants game, never met him, never talked to him, but I went to a Giants game on behalf of Dusty Baker.
I believe that. That's how awesome is that? He's such a great guy. Very cool.
And
but they were nosebleeds, right?
Yeah.
No, they were good seats.
Okay.
They were like mid row or whatever. But it just shows that, people that are famous can often, look past people, and he's not that kind of guy.
Not at all.
And I liked him when he was a Dodger. No one ever talked about his Dodger career. I liked him as a Dodger.
Yeah, for sure. And, thank you, AC. I've never told him this story. I don't think, because he's been on a lot. But, Chris, I fortunate enough to go to the World Series in they played 3 times, 77, 78, or 81, but I feel like it was 78 at Dodger Stadium.
I paid my taxes.
I was at the left field line, my brother, my dad, and I just remember there was a ball hit and there was that little short fence, and there was a ball hit, and he's running over. He caught it, and I was just like, and it was like right up on us. I'm like, wow. I mean, you're a kid, and that's a baseball player. That's Dusty. Plus, the name I always thought was cool, Dusty Baker, as a kid. Like,
you invented the high five.
You invented the high five, and you caught a ball right by me. Do you remember that?
What if that was the story of, as a little kid, you put your hands up because you thought he was coming into the stands, and then he stopped, and then he just hit your hand.
He high-fived me, and I didn't even know it, and that's where it started. That's what I'm going with. Thank you, Chris. That is the news story. I co-invented the high five with Dusty Baker. Oh, my goodness. Our thanks to Dusty for joining us. When we come back, we've got What's on Deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing, and Celebrity Birthdays, brought to you by Crumble Cookies. Busy segment. That is next.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Roseville Auto Mall.
I'm Ophelia Young in the KCRA3 Weather Center on this Friday morning. We are starting the day with comfortable weather under sunny skies with very little winds. Weather keeps warming today with temperatures climbing into the low 90s this afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The Roseville Auto Mall is Northern California's ultimate destination when looking for your next vehicle. Find the largest selection with 20 top brands. Find spectacular deals during our big 4th of July sales event going on now at the Roseville Auto Mall. Driven to be the best.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret, AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6580. That's 800-583-6580.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $749.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Get to your local Toyota dealer because the 4th of July sales event is on. This summer, freedom comes with a full tank and endless possibilities. Right now, get a low-cost lease on 2025 Tacoma or get an incredible $3,000 cash back on 2025 Tundra. Plus, check out the all-new 2025 4Runner. The hottest deals of the summer won't last long, so don't miss the chance to roam. Your Toyota truck is ready for it all. Toyota, let's go places. Offers available through TFS to buyers with premium-rated credit. Cashback available through TMNA and cannot be combined with other offers at 6/30/25.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Avriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center. Tickets and info at CITPFest.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is going to be fun.
It's time for What's on Deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing.
That's right. It is time for What's on Deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing. Well, what's on deck? New series starting for the Giants and for the A's. You also have golf, round 2, Rocket Classic, day 2. A's are beginning a series in New York against the Yankees. That one's coming up. The Giants, oh man, they begin a series with the White Sox. Got to get it right, Giants. You missed your opportunity with the Marlins. Now take advantage of the White Sox. What's Chicago's record these days? 26-55. Woof. Colorado's all the way up to 18 wins. They're on fire. Dodgers were the first to 50. Tigers are also there. Halfway through the baseball season.
And the finishing up of the Club World Cup.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Of the first round.
Before we get to celebrity birthdays here, what was our text? Jason, I have Cheeseburger in Paradise song stuck in my head. I don't know why. Because it's a good song. No. What's Alan doing? Alan looks frustrated.
My donuts are too assorted for him, for his liking.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He went over and opened the box, but came away without a donut.
There's no beige stuff left.
All right, Alan's going to be here ready to go here in moments. We're going to get celebrity birthdays brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Crumble Chris was in yesterday. It was good to see him. Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies. What's the issue over there, Mr. Stiles?
I mean, we've been over this. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
Just can we just stop the glaze hate? Can we stop that?
There's one in there.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is. It's an old-fashioned one.
You just want a simple glaze.
You know what this is? With the Kings last night, right? Hey, this is how I felt last season during the draft. Just say the name. Just say the name. I wanted Dalton Connect. He was highest on the board. Just say the name.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Last night, Maxime, highest on the board.
You just say him.
They said the name.
Yeah.
Just get the glaze. Just get the glaze.
Want 12
There's a glaze right there.
Old fashioned. Just get the glaze. Okay, you know the one bite, the Barstool one bite. If there was a one donut bite, which I probably should start, by the way, all over Sacramento, what would you bite? You'd bite the glazed.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm kind of pro glaze.
You'd bite the glaze.
Yeah.
That's your first pick of a donut.
It's like going, if you wanted a wing, you get a buffalo wing.
Okay, so let's take you. You're at a donut shop. Doesn't even matter which one. They've got every possible donut. You're bringing 12 to the studio.
Okay.
What are you bringing?
About 5 glaze.
Okay.
Too many.
The simple circle.
Way too many.
Like the glaze twists or just the glaze?
If glaze are so
Normal
great, why are they
glaze.
always the last ones?
They're not. And people say the same thing about oatmeal raisin cookies. We stop
See,
this.
Look, I that's all. I rest my case.
We need
Oatmeal
to stop
raisin
this.
guy loves glazed donuts.
I mean, did you buy one normal glaze?
What's a normal glaze?
Just a circle donut with glaze on it.
Am I taking cuckoo pills?
Yes.
Isolate that.
You know what? I'm just here, Jason.
You're here
Please.
so you don't get fined?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do it. Let's do celebrity birthdays. See if we do better here. All right. Brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Here we go, guys. On this date, which is what, June 27th, in what year did the movie Baby Boy come out?
Oh.
That's with
Come on, Chris. Obviously I know the movie, but
that's with Tyrese, right? Okay. And Ving Rhames, Snoop Dogg.
So you know the movie.
I'm going to say 2000.
yeah, I think it's right there on the fringe. I'm gonna say 01 feels too late. It's 90. We're right around it. I'm gonna say 01.
We have a correct answer, and it goes to Alan Stiles.
I wanted to say 01. I'm like thinking
when you first said 01 is too late. I'm like, oh boy. Also on this date, in what year did the movie by Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder?
Tropic Thunder.
Days of Thunder. The racing, car racing one.
That came out. Great ride at Great America. The Days of Thunder ride. I am going to say 1991.
Chris is probably going to go see F1.
I'm not.
You said 91?
Yeah.
90.
We have a correct answer, and it goes to Alan Stiles.
Yeah.
Wow. 2 for 2. All right,
if
Alan.
he could just poach off of my picks, yeah, he can do pretty well.
Now let's see how he does here. Happy birthday.
Oh, no.
Let's see if you're keeping up with Khloe Kardashian. She could be.
I really don't know. Chris?
I don't know. Which one's Chloe? Is that Lamar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tristan?
Yes.
42.
Yeah. I honestly...
She'll be 1 year off of me, so just go ahead.
I'm going to say 44, actually.
Oh, Chris had a good idea for you.
43.
The other way.
41.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Chris is close as 41 for Khloe Kardashian. Happy birthday to Tobey Maguire.
The real... Then that's the real Spider-Man.
Is it?
Can we just admit that now? Can we?
How old is Spidey?
Spidey, I think Spidey's been... He's been swinging webs for a while. And Seabiscuit as well. Yeah, I watched that on the plane. And it was really good.
Horse on the plane.
Yeah, I never would have watched
Tropic Thunder.
You know those movies that you never would have watched unless you're on a plane?
Yeah, Draft Day.
Tobey Maguire. I think he's up there. I think he's 46.
No, he's 50.
We have a correct answer. It's Christopher Lott, 50. Tobey Maguire.
Slinging the webs.
Him and DiCaprio are the same age.
Happy birthday to singer. I don't even know her real name, but it's her.
Vallejo's finest.
H.E.R. What is her name?
I just know her as her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've never
Wait,
even
say
heard.
that
Like
again?
sometimes you usually hear the name and it's like, but she goes.
Wait,
by.
say that again. Ask that question again.
What is her name?
Yeah.
Yep. Her.
The Valley Joe.
Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah. These singers, man. I think she's been around. I'm going to say, I think she's 26 or 27. I'm going to say 27.
Oh, man, I'm going to think real hard about what I'm going to pick and pick 26.
Alan is closer, 28.
Told you.
Told you. Happy birthday to, let's see how you do here. Fashion designer? Yeah, Vera Wang.
Since I've been alive, so, right? And what is that? Is that purses?
I have no idea.
I think so.
Purses?
I just know the name, and then I was looking at birthdays.
Is that still popping? Right? I feel like that was like
what, purses?
With Vera Wang.
I don't know. Let's put it on the list.
Jimmy Choo.
Yeah. Are those the red bottom shoes? I don't know. What do I know?
Out of my tax bracket. No. Can I just get to Summer League here? Who was? Vera Wang. I'm gonna say 70.
67.
Alan's closer, 76. Happy birthday to Titans quarterback. Yeah, Will Levis.
Mayo Man.
Yeah.
Mayo Man. Were you about to say something, Chris? Oh. Mayo Man, honestly, I don't know. He might be 27 now. Quarterbacks tend to be younger than you think, especially when they stink. 27.
28.
Alan's closer, 26. Happy birthday to Astros first base DH Yordan Alvarez.
That World Series, he was pretty young. That was like 4 years ago. I'm going to say he's 28.
27.
We have a correct answer, and it goes to Alan.
I'm hot, baby.
There you go. All right.
Come on.
See if he's ready for Friday fun and games.
You're losing here.
And what's coming up on the Alan Styles Show. That is all next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Turn up the heat with Sky River's $130,000 Blackjack Tournament, happening every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Join for a chance to share in $10,000 in prizes with a guaranteed weekly winner of $5,000 in promotional chips. The first entry is free for Sky River Rewards members, plus rebuy for just $50. Visit skyriver.com for complete details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or over.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Have you heard? Kohl's Instant Kohl's Cash event is happening now. That's right.
You can get $10 Kohl's Cash to use instantly when you spend $25 or more. Get it today and spend it today on summer must-haves from your favorite brands. Yep, you definitely don't want to miss this. Get instant Kohl's Cash while you still can at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Offers end June 29th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
I had the chance to interview former professional golfer and broadcaster Gary McCord a few years back. He hadn't yet enraged the Green Jackets with his television comments about their revered Georgia golf course. He was welcoming and above all humorous, which is why I recently picked up a copy of his book, Golf for Dummies by Gary McCord, a man possessed by golf's magical allure. This 5th edition will help new golfers learn the basics of the game and bring them, as he writes, from the darkness to the light. The book discusses types of clubs, types of courses, how to hit the ball, and how to keep score. The intent is to help you get the ball to the hole in fewer tries and with better form. You'll even find some basic exercises to get you into golf shape. It's a fun read and will help you get over some of the game's intimidation while getting you ready to visit the golf course on your own or with some friends. I always recommend a good PGA professional to guide you along the way, but Golf for Dummies is a fun way to approach a fun game. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
We have finally made it to Friday.
Let's end your week the right way with Friday Fun and Games
on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Yes. Friday Fun and Games coming up. We also have the Alan Styles Show coming up. What's coming up today?
Wait, before that, I think we have reason number 6,282 why Alan and Dave are the same person.
What do you got?
Of me giving Alan a compliment and he takes it and twists it into someone saying that they don't like him.
No, that's not exactly what happened. I was pocketing what Chris said for a later time. And then it reminded me of everyone who says negative things.
See,
you guys are the
same person.
So amazing. I'm glad you figured that out pretty early, Chris.
Yeah,
because now that you have, then now we see everyone else sees it and like, yeah, same guy.
By the way, with Dave out, he still doesn't know that number 2 is coming. It's been pretty safe so far.
Oh yeah.
He still doesn't know.
What am I missing?
Remember how I told you we're having our second kid in September? Dave still doesn't know.
I thought you were going to tell him.
We're not telling him.
Oh.
I'm just going to disappear in September.
Oh, gotcha.
Who's yelling at?
And everyone's been doing a great job.
What we have to do is we have to gaslight him and like, Dave, remember the meeting we had? We talked about it in there.
Right.
Yeah. Because I didn't know that was the deal. So
that's the deal.
Now, very publicly.
That's right. Yeah. And hopefully, everybody will stay strong. Jason, real quick.
Yeah.
Nathan Grubel of No Ceilings, NBA writer and founder of Draft Deeper, joins us at 10:30 to talk about, he had a note on Dylan Cardwell. So we're going to talk about Dylan, all the moves that were made, of course. Then at 11 o'clock, Dr. Joaquin Wallace, play-by-play for the Santa Cruz Warriors and does Stanford games as well.
Cool.
He hit me up about my guy, Maxime Raynaud.
My guy.
So that's coming up. That's coming up at 11. So great stuff coming up on the Alan Styles Show.
I saw your social media. You were very happy with what they've done.
Very happy.
I think the process of what they've done makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, now will they turn out? I don't know. But the process of trading up and who they took and getting Maxime, it checks the boxes to me.
Yes. And that's why I said yesterday, I was more excited at the thought process of Neek Clifford than actually Neek Clifford. Right.
Until we see him.
Until we see him.
Right.
And we're going to see him live in Vegas, baby.
Yeah. You going to Vegas?
I'm wheeling and dealing.
This guy's a man on the streets. Yeah. He is with
Please,
the
someone pay for me.
Man, I'm out of cash.
All right. You guys ready for a little Friday Fun and Games?
Yeah, I'm in the zone, man.
You're in the zone?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start with you today.
Okay.
We played this game many times. I was working on a new game, just didn't have it quite ready. So it'll be, I guess, a couple weeks because we'll do the show next Friday. It is Wavelength. We're back to Wavelength.
Oh,
number 1 to 10. So
I hate having to do this.
I know. 10 is the best.
10 is the best.
1 is the worst.
Okay.
All right. So, Alan, if you could take your headsets off for a moment. Kyle, why don't you show me a number and Chris a number? Okay, and I'm going to tell the audience really fast. The number is 4. Okay, Alan, we're back. So basically, we have picked a number between 1 and 10. Alan's going to ask us questions. We're going to describe what we think that number represents based on the question, and then Alan, at the end of the round, will see if he can guess what we picked. So you can start with whoever you'd like.
Okay, well, Chris gets mad every time I don't do this. And since he was nice to me earlier, allegedly.
Yeah, said some kind words earlier in the show.
Chris, give this to me in the form of one of my 90s movies.
I would say The Big Green.
Woo-hoo! Unless Chris doesn't like The Big Green. Jason, give this to me.
I'm just curious right now. What number are you thinking based on that?
At least a 7.
Okay.
At least a 7.
Okay.
Because I like The Big Green.
Got it. Yeah.
Jason, give this to me in the form of one of the potato chips that your brother brings or has brought before.
Jeez.
Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to nail the flavor exactly right, but like a flaming hot Taki.
Okay. Kyle, give this to me in the form of a player from the book that you wrote during the Spurs dynasty.
Nice.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Go ahead.
George Hill.
Wow. Good luck.
Okay.
You can go another round if you feel like you need it.
We were getting hot. I vaguely remember Chris saying he didn't love The Big Green. And I actually don't know if Jason likes hot Takis or not. So I'm kind of in the dark here, and I want us to be able to do another round. I'm thinking.
Yeah, you go to another round.
No. I want somebody else to be able to go.
So what's your guess?
Yeah, I think my guess is it's 6 or 7, and I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay. The number was 4.
What?
Yeah.
I knew The Big Green was gonna screw
Mighty
me.
Mighty Ducks 2. I would even say Mighty Ducks 3 is better than The Big Green.
All right, Chris,
Heavyweights.
you want to go?
Wait, what if I go going between that or a kid in King Arthur's Court?
Now we're
in the 4 range.
So you hate Takis?
He doesn't like spice.
Yeah.
4 guys. How we get to 4? That's a tough
George
one.
Hill a 4?
George Hill got traded for Kawhi, so
All right.
All right. You want to? We got to redeem ourselves.
No. Who's next?
Chris, you want to go for it?
Sure.
Okay. So Chris, take the headphones off. Alan, why don't you pick a number or show a number? Okay, and the number is 3. Okay, Chris, we're good. Can you hear us? All right. So we've got a number between 1 and 10. Chris, go ahead.
Jason, give this to me as an SNL character.
Character or cast member?
Cast member.
Let's see. Let's go with Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. So Robert Downey Jr. as a SNL character.
Yeah.
Got it.
He was a
Alan,
cast member 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give this to me as a 90s movie.
Aladdin 2.
All right. Okay. Kyle, what is this in a trying to think. What is this in a sports media personality?
Dave McMenamin.
Okay, I'm thinking low, and 1 is the lowest. I'm gonna say 2.
Close.
3?
3.
Okay,
we're at 3.
That was good though.
That was good.
That was good.
Good descriptions.
I almost said Lion King 1.5.
Do we have time for one more or no?
Got a minute.
All right. I don't know if we have time. It would be probably too much. You playing? You playing us out?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you have any big. You have Rivercats this weekend?
Rivercats tonight.
Dusty Baker bobblehead night.
That's right. It's going to be electric. Actually, the family is coming tonight. They haven't seen me
In
do
action?
a game yet, so they're
Any
going.
extra pressure?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. It's the Dodgers are in town. The Oklahoma City Comets, the AAA Dodgers team. My wife, kiddo is going to be there. So, I really got to dial in.
And Alan, can you take your headphones off real quick? Alan does an absolute amazing job over at the River Cats. You should check it out.
I can hear you. Thank you very much, Chris.
All right. Well, Alan Stiles is coming your way next. He's got a big show. Lots of talk on the Kings and their draft selections over the last couple of days. Thanks again to Stanford head basketball coach Kyle Smith and to Dusty Baker. For Christopher Laud, I'm Jason Ross. Dave is back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Alan Stiles is next.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches.